Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind.
Let me see the fucking. Where's he at?
Albums of power. Albums of power. Albums of power. Albums of power.
And so, a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost at $1 billion.
The Popular Thought
3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper until you read over and over and see white families travel? You think of the thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? Think they're more spiritual? Think they're better fit? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you to drive a car. And if you use it wrong, then you lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, if we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving, what do they tell you what that means? 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sac Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Weston House. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Albums of power. Albums of power. Albums of power.
San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. That's 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. And peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Popular Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your Negroes are here. Well, tonight, J.I.He returns, and tonight he faces another challenger, brother Sir Anthony. They will be squaring off on should men financially abort. But You knew that already too. But before we get started, as always, y'all know I always like to start the stream off with thanking you good folks, man, for everything that you do. Because you don't have to watch these damn videos, you don't have to show up to these damn debates. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to share, and you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces. But you good folks choose to do so, man. And night after night after night after night, you do it. So I feel like night after night after night, I have to thank you for doing it. I want you to know that I don't take you good folks lightly. I never have. I never will. All right. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the shares, the views, the likes, I appreciate the emails y'all send me sometimes just to shoot the shit. I appreciate all of that, man. And I definitely appreciate you dropping your hard-earned coins on this platform. So I want y'all to know, man, that I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm appreciative, man, and I'm thankful to you good folks that hang out there and the good folks that hang out in here. All right. All right. Let's get at it. Yeah, brother J.I. is back. And him and Sir Anthony will be squaring off tonight in the digital squared circle. I think I'm going to have the T.P.O.T timekeeper here. I didn't even let him know what was going on. So I kind of just hit him up a little while ago. But if push comes to shove, I can keep the time. So we just wait for one of my debaters, because brother J.I. is here. Let me bring him in. Brother J.I., what's good with it, man?
I can't call it T.P.O.T. What's going on?
Same old stuff, man. We are here again in the digital squared circle.
Oh,
awaiting your opponent, actually. Oh, hold up,
I
y'all.
saw him in the chat.
Yeah, I did. I saw him too. Check your email, brother Sir Anthony. I forgot to tell y'all, man. Hold on a second, brother J.I. Hold on for 2 minutes. I forgot to tell y'all, man. This arrived the other day. The old book of Obsidian. Went and got this out the mailbox the other day. I haven't read it yet, y'all, but he is a man of his word. As you can see, he did autograph it, and wrote a little paragraph. He said, to Brother Xavier, the prophet of thought himself, thank you so much for your support. Mumia, Obsidian, Ali. Yeah, man. So, yeah. Think I'm going to get into reading it, man, probably next week. I'll probably start reading it next Friday, because that's my day off. And tomorrow I got something I got to do, so I can't start on it tomorrow. So I probably won't get in on it till next Friday, and I'm gonna try to read as much of it as I can. But I don't know where brother Sir Anthony is. I know he was in the chat, and I did send you the link, brother Sir Anthony.
He said he just needs a moment. He's trying to figure it out on his phone, he said.
Okay.
So he's on the way.
Yeah,
cool.
so
But before he gets here, appreciate you again for hosting another debate, man.
absolutely. Absolutely. And good luck on that Cash App, brother Sir Anthony. Forgot to mention that, man. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Okay, there he is. Brother Sir Anthony. Can you hear us?
Okay, I'm in. Greetings, T.P.O.T.
Okay. How are you,
Greetings,
brother?
brother
How are
J.I.
you?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
What's
Yeah,
going
man,
on, man?
just another night in the digital squared circle, man. You follow me, so you know the rules, but let me lay them out anyway. All right. As y'all know, we do 7-minute opening statement rounds. Each debater has 7 minutes to lay down their premise. Then after that, we do something called the rebuttal round. Now, each debater will have 5 minutes. We'll probably do 3 rounds of that tonight. 5 minutes per debater for rebuttal. After that, we go into something called rapid fire. Rapid fire is mano y mano, head to head, no nothing, no holds barred. The brothers get to go head to head in rhetorical combat. After that, we go to closing statements. Those are 7 minutes per debater as well. Whoever started the debate off will be the second person to go during closing statements. Then, after that, we go to the polls. And once the polls are done, if the brothers have time, they're ready to answer some questions from you if they stick around. And as y'all know, if you want to ask questions of the debaters on a debate night, they must be super chatted or cash app, or I will not read them. All right. Tonight, we are debating, should men financially abort? Is that the topic, brothers?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, should
All right.
men have financial abortion? Yes.
All right. So obviously, brother Sir Anthony is the negative. Brother J.I. is the affirmative. As y'all know, the negative always goes first. So let me set up the clock, and hopefully I'm saved by the T.P.O.T timekeeper, but I will do the best I can, brothers.
Hold on a second, Sir Anthony. Should men have the right to financial abortion? That's what you're arguing, right? Again,
Well, why are you asking me this question right now?
to
What
make sure,
what
because it only
clarity?
just occurred to me. It only just occurred to me that somebody might interpret it differently because it says should men financially abort. So just make sure you're on the same page.
Well, now you're giving me pause because, and I'm not trying to back out, but I thought I was clear. You have a petition that's out there, and you've been debating for months on this. Is there something different?
Nope, nothing different at all. You got it. Go ahead.
All right, brother, Sir Anthony, 7 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger, sir. You are up. Opening statements.
Okay, I would just like to read some of my opponent's statement on abortion, or the financial abortion for men. He says the man and the woman have sex, both giving their consent to the act. The woman gets pregnant, she has a choice if she wants to have an abortion or not, and she deserves this choice. Yet the man has no more choices after they both consent to sex. Men deserve financial abortion. Men may not carry the child physically, but it impacts their life just as much, and they deserve a say when they become parents. The second and last paragraph gets more problematic. This is not about the man wearing protection or not having sex. This is not about men forcing women to do anything with their bodies. This is about men having no rights after sex is had with, which is unfair to men. Men deserve the right to financial abortion and to choose when they become parents after sex, just like women have. It also says, I guess the title of the petition is Men Deserve Financial Abortion, Our Seed, Our Choice. All these things are important. See, because to create this law, my opponent makes the argument that men have no rights after conception. He conveniently ignores some of the things that come before that. But he wants to focus primarily on the rights after conception takes place. And wanting such a law is not really the problem, but my opponent has complicated things by packaging things that in such a way that's so neat just to fit into the manosphere. He basically has made it manosphere safe by restricting the debate to focus solely on post-contraceptive rights that are given to women. And he makes a grave mistake by doing this, because in doing so, he unwittingly sets himself up to be an advocate for pro-choice, for abortion itself, by refusing to promote this, by refusing to put the foot down on women. He basically is aligning himself with them. he sets himself as a pro-choice advocate, and he's unwilling to give up abortion because he so desperately wants to have his financial abortion. He basically wants to give women their right to abort fetuses so that he can have the financial abortion. And as a pro-life advocate myself, my argument is that the only true path to equality is to address the law that gives women the right to terminate the pregnancy, the sole right. This point has already been made in previous debates, but my opponent chooses to ignore that because, like I say, he's turned himself into basically a fanatic or a zealot per se, just to further this cause. He's often said that there are no moral aspects to this argument, but he himself is making it a moral argument just to claim that there's no rights that men have after conception. He argues that it's unfair against men. That's a moral argument, and I ultimately say that he's going to be taken down by such a moral argument at the end of the day. I'm just going to see the rest of my time as I gather my thoughts.
All right. Brother J.I., do you want that 246?
That's quite a bit of time. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take it. Okay. We get 9:46 on the clock.
You know me, X. I'm not one to pass up free time.
Yeah, well, these are the rules. All right. 9:46 on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up. Pull the trigger. Opening statements.
All right. So once again, I'd like to thank T.P.O.T for hosting these debates. These are crucial things, in my opinion, and I take pretty much every chance I can to get this message out there. And I respect my opponent for taking me up on this debate as well. Now, my opponent said some things that are just incorrect in my opinion. I'm glad that he read my petition because I stand by it. I outline everything in crystal clear writing in that petition. A woman has a right after the fact. A man does not. To get to the heart of this, the crux of the matter, all we have to do is look at legality and fairness as it concerns the law. We can use simple A equals B equals C logic. If men and women are to have equal rights under the law, everybody agrees at that point. Okay? This means men and women should have equal rights. Yet women have the right to abortion. Men have no say in that. Already we run into an A does not equal B. So we have an issue. Now there are people like my opponent that I would argue want to control the woman's body because they want to take away her right to abortion because they're, as they say, pro-life. That's a stance that many people have. I am not of the let's force people to do anything with their body camp. So I don't believe that you should force a woman that does not want to have a child to have that child because I understand that simple logic would dictate that child is not going to have a good life. You can't force someone to be a parent. That's just what it is. If a woman does not want to have a child, it's child endangerment to force that child to be with that parent. That's why we don't do it. So I would not ever want to force a woman to have a child if she is not wanting to have it. But at the same time, for equality's sake, I believe that men should not be forced to be parents when they don't want to be either. It's a simple thing to make this fair in the eyes of the law. All you have to do is give men financial abortion rights. Now, we can debate what that will look like after the fact, but again, that is after a fact. We must first agree that this law is unequal. Now, notice that my opponent never touched on the fairness of the law. He never said that it was unfair. And it always surprises me how many men refuse to admit that the laws are unfair. Okay, he went and jumped into this. He said that I've made my argument perfect for the manosphere, and because I only want to talk about after the fact. No, after the fact is all that matters, because as it pertains to abortion, women aren't asked, hey, were you being responsible? Hey, were you married? Hey, did you know this guy? Hey, how long did you know this guy for you? None of that matters in the eyes of the law. So it doesn't matter to me either. So for me, this is not a matter of responsibility. And I made that clear inside of my petition. This is a matter of rights. This is a men's right that we are being grievously denied. Okay, this isn't about picking the right one or being smart or being responsible. This is not about any of that. This is about a basic right that men do not have and how men are suffering because of it. All right, I understand just like any other issue, men have had to fight, women had to fight for their rights. They fought for them, now they have them. Men, we are going to have to do the same thing. It always baffles me how many men are willing to stand in the way of men's rights progress. But that's why it's good that we air out these debates so we can really hash it out. What it comes down to is if you are a man and you're against this, you are a traitor to your own gender. And let me explain why. Women, most women, even if they're pro life, even if they say, well, I would never have an abortion personally, whatever, they understand that it's important that women have the right. They want women to have full autonomy over their own bodies. So they may still vote for women to have the right to abortion, even if personally they would never use it. I've talked to a lot of women. You guys have heard me talk to a lot of women. They echo these sentiments. But so many men, so many men refuse to say, you know what, even if I would never do this, I still want men to be able to do this because I understand how powerful this is as a right for men. So I don't know why so many men still push back against this. I I say that women are more on code and they're more willing to do what's best in their best interest as a collective than men are. And I think that this is because for so long men have been pushed into this, oh, well, you have to be righteous and do what's right and you have to just suffer and it's okay. No, it's not okay. Men, we need to feverishly fight for our rights and we need to get them up to speed. Because what my opponent will not say is that these laws are fair. He won't say that it's fair that a woman gets to make all the decisions concerning both parties' lives after she's pregnant. It's not fair that a man has no rights over that child or any say in what happens to that child after the fact. That is unfair, just from a pure definition standpoint. So he either does not care that it's unfair for men, or he's going to try to make some garbage argument about men having to be more responsible before the fact when that has nothing to do with it. Okay? This isn't even an issue concerning women, in my personal opinion, because women only do what the law allows them to. This is an issue with the law. That's why I never petition women to be more responsible or to be better people. I don't care because I understand that human beings do what is allowable within the realm of the law and the society in which they find themselves. That's why I push for men to fight this at the legal level. I'm not wanting women to abstain or do anything different. This isn't even about them. This is about men's lack of rights under the law, and that's where we have to keep it. Another thing my opponent said is that I shy away from the morality of things, but I invoke the morality. This isn't true. And let me explain again why I don't go into the morals of it. Okay? You can have one man who believes that killing's wrong no matter what. You can have another man that believes that killing's wrong unless you have a good reason. You can find a third man that'll say that killing's wrong unless somebody tries to kill you, and that's the only time it's acceptable. You can find another man that says, well, killing may be allowable if you did this. See, morality is a gray area. It's subjective. There is no universal morality. People's morality may be influenced by their upbringing, by their religion, most of the time. That has a lot to do with it, and by any number of factors. And people's morality actually changes and shifts through life. Okay, different cultures find different things moral because it's subjective. There is no ultimate right or wrong. There is no morality in nature. Okay, it's a human concept. So moral compasses are personal. They're intrinsic and they may speak to the values of a society, but they're not universal across all societies, or even within a society, there's still disagreement. But what there has to be uniformity on is the law and how the law applies to the citizens that it governs. There can be no mistake in that. That's why when I say this is not about morality, it is not. It is about legality. Okay? And laws are supposed to equally govern those in a society. If laws apply one way to one group, but they work differently to another group in that same society, then you have broken laws, and they need to be fixed because the function of the law is to equally and fairly govern a society, the citizens of that society. All right. So if we want to have a fair society for men, as men, we need to fix the legality of this issue. And by doing so, we do financial abortion. Again, am I wrapping this up? I don't want women to lose rights over their body. This isn't championing them to be more responsible or anything like that. This is only giving men equal footing and an equal say over their lives that women have already fought for and obtained. Men, it's our turn to fight for it and obtain it. It's going to be an uphill battle. We're going to have to fight gender traitors like my opponent here, but we deserve the same rights and the same control over our destinies and fates. Do not be tricked into thinking otherwise, and do not be deceived into thinking that it's just okay to let these things slide. It's not. We deserve the same rights and nothing less.
All right. That is going to end the opening statements. Now we go into the rebuttal round. Go ahead and set 5 minutes on the clock. We left off with Brother J.I. So we start the rebuttal round with Brother Sir Anthony. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother Sir Anthony, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Okay, I'm ready. I just like to say that this is tough. So my hat's off to you, Brother J.I. and all other people. But you say several things in your statement that are problematic. You say that I'm a gender traitor when this has nothing to do with loyalty to gender for a person that is pro-life. Unlike yourself, who is pro-choice, I'm pro-life. So that means that I place a premium in the life and viability of the fetus that has been conceived. So I'm not spending too much time on the gender traitor thing because that can be just a distraction. You also say that it's not about morality, but it's about legality. And I'm glad that you said that so that you don't later circle back to morality to be able to lead on later on, even though you say it's not fair to men. I don't think that you even know the underlying concepts of morality that go into this, because the law that gave women the right to have an abortion in the first place, were centered around morality. The Supreme Court grappled with morality when they adjudicated the case. There's such a thing on the Supreme Court as consensus, and they've had problems throughout the years on this particular issue reaching consensus. And what consensus is getting information from professionals, philosophers, medical professionals, doctors, just so that they can get an understanding to wrap their minds around the issue to get a consensus. I also say that you don't even know the law that impacts what you are trying to gain. You say it's not about morality, it's about legality. I don't think you even understand the legality of things. You see, because these women were given rights by the Supreme Court, and I want to take those rights away, which you want to shy away from. That is really the only path towards fairness or leveling the playing field that you're trying to get to. But you don't want to deny women the ability to have an abortion. So you're straddling the fence. You're on their side, giving them the right, but then you want to have a problem with them having the right. You don't even understand the right that they have, and that's problematic. You're speaking about instituting a new law for people, for men, and I applaud you for that. I say to you that your law, if it were to take place today, it would leave men out in the cold, men that I care for as well, men who want to have children. They can be denied that right from a woman if she wants to have an abortion. We all know this. We speak about this in the manosphere often. If your law were to take place today, they would still have no recourse. If they wanted to have a baby, a woman could still deny them the baby because her body, her choice, she can deny it to them. While you have your financial abortion on the tail end, there are guys that are still left out in the cold. And their grievances are just as good as the guy who may get caught up into a financial bind through the family court system. And that's problematic. You know, the bro code doesn't really matter in this case. Like I say, it's about women. I mean, it's about the children that the women conceive. As a pro-lifer, that's my stance. I don't think you've debated anyone up until now that is truly pro-life. People have debated against you because they might not have agreed with it, but as a pro-lifer, you're against what I'm trying to be about. You're in line with the pro-choice women who want to have abortions. And there's a saying that says the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and the reverse of that would be the friend of my enemy is my enemy. So you're my enemy on this issue. So it's not about bros and women being gone on code. It's about the viability of the fetus and the life of that fetus. I see my time.
All right. There's only 4 seconds left, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. All right, brother J.I., 5 minutes on the clock. You are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right, so my opponent said a couple things where he was just completely wrong on. Yes, he is a gender traitor, and here's why. I already addressed. Plenty of women may not be for abortion themselves, but they understand the bigger picture and women having autonomy over their bodies and over their fate. Men need to have that same understanding and say, even if I would not partake, okay, personally, men still need to have this right because this is a fundamental and crucial right that will help shape a man's destiny and his life. Okay, so he is absolutely, by being against this, he is 100% being a gender traitor. Next point. He keeps saying I'm aligned with women having abortions. I'm not aligned with it. I'm just not trying to get them to lose that right. I am for women having rights over their body. That is true. Okay, but financial abortion has nothing to do with killing anything. So he's a hypocrite for even saying that. It has zero to do with killing anything. Nothing. No one dies during a financial abortion. It's not what it's about at all. He's trying to paint it as if, oh, as long as you have financial abortion, they're going to have physical abortion. They already have physical abortions. Okay? They already have it. And in my opinion, it's not going to go anywhere because I, I just, I don't see it going anywhere. But men, we can absolutely gain our half of that, the inverse are what it looks like for men to have abortion. And I think it has to look financial for the reasons I've stated previously. I don't want men to have any autonomy over a woman's body. I believe that that is their choice. Now, he said that men still lose when a woman has an abortion and the man wanted to have the child. That's absolutely true. And honestly, that's terrible. There are men and that I know and I've spoken with, the woman has killed the kid and they wanted to have it. I get it. That is It's terrible, and I'm sure that the men feel awful about it. But to me, I think that that's even a greater reason for men to be able to have financial abortion, because right now men have no say. So if men can't have a say in what the woman does with her body, then men need to have a say in how it impacts their life on the opposite side of the coin. Because the opposite side of that coin, the woman killing it when the man wants it, that's one side of the coin. But the other side of the coin is the woman having it when that man doesn't want it. And right now, what we see is the system weaponizing women against men by these unjust um, family court laws and stuff. And a woman can know she's a side chick or, a fling, or they just met at the club, whatever. But that woman understands that she has the backing of the legal system behind her to be able to punish this man and ruin his life for having intercourse with her. And they weaponize that against men 100%, and that is wicked. Okay? That's not right. It's just not. So it would balance out if men understood that they can control their fate. Less women would get pregnant just off a whim. Okay, less women would not be able to financially weaponize the court system against men in that way. Okay, and unfortunately, everything's not going to be squared perfectly, because women will still be able to have, abortion rights. They'll be able to kill it, if you don't want them to. But there's just some things we just can't do anything about. There's just some things that, we have to hold nail on. But at least then the law would be fair, because men have a way out the same way that women do. It's going to look a little different because women carry it physically. And I personally don't want to trespass on the woman's body's rights. I'm not that person. My opponent is that person. He wants to strip women of those rights. But even if you strip women of those rights, I mean, they're going to go back to have, if a woman doesn't want to have a child and it's in her body, first off, she's going to have a black market abortion. She doesn't even have to tell you that she's pregnant. Once she figures it out, there's all kinds of chemicals and stuff she can take, especially in 2020. They were already doing, hanger abortions. There's just no way around that. That's just an unfair thing because it's in their body. They just got that point. But in summation, yes, he is a gender traitor.
All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother Sir Anthony, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Okay, he keeps going back to the gender traitor thing. And I just want to point out once again, it's about the fetus, not about the gender. I'm glad my opponent has pointed out that he has no recourse for the brothers, the men that are left out in the cold by the leaving the abortion on the table. My opponent made a petition 10 months ago. And at the time, Donald Trump was the president. And there were certain players that my opponent focused the petition towards. And that was Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia, Donald J. Trump in the White House at the time, and the United States Senate, which at the time was led by the majority leader, Mitch McConnell. They had the majority. All of these people, the main people that he directed his petition towards, are like myself. They are pro-life. Brian Kemp, as a Republican, is pro-life. The Republican National Committee has taken a stance on pro-life against pro-choice. They want to take away or mitigate these rights that women have. My opponent says that he doesn't think it's going to happen. Donald Trump, he did fill the court with justices that may very likely take away that right if the right case comes up. It seems bleak, but there have been some minor victories in our cause down through the years since Roe versus Wade became law. Some things have been taken down a bit, and people are afraid, and rightfully so, that if Donald Trump put the wrong justices on the court that Roe versus Wade could go away, because Roe versus Wade is not a perfect law. It's fraught with problems, and it can be taken down, whether fully or in piecemeal. We have states out there like Arkansas, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, who would love to take it away, and they are making it very difficult for women to have abortions, just short of taking the law away completely, which they cannot do. So it is possible for this law to be taken down because it's not a perfect law. I don't want to keep revisiting the gender thing because, like I say, it's about the life of the fetus as a pro-life advocate. You know, saying that you want to be pro-choice helps the women's cause because you cannot have a financial abortion if they don't have the right to a fetal abortion. So you need fetal abortion to be on the table in order for you to go after what you so desire, which is a financial abortion. I would posit to you today that you so desperately want this right that no, you don't want to take away fetal abortion. And you guise it under the speech that you don't want to take away women's rights and so on and so forth. I don't make that statement. I want to take it away. And the Republican Party, the people that you petitioned, Brian Kemp and Donald Trump, the Republicans in the United States Senate, they want to take that right away. And we have justices on the court that want to take that right away just as well. So I don't dance around that. So it's not a bro thing. It's about life. I'm a pro-lifer. I'm in the manosphere every day, and I'm down with the bros. I understand how women code up. But for me on this, it's not about coding up. It's about the life of the fetus. So that's a distraction. And as we proceed forward, you're going to be continued. You're going to get painted into the corner even further the more you talk. I see the rest of my time.
I'll take his time. Just give it to me.
All right. 5:30 on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right. So going back to that and why I still say that is because, like I've said, there's a what's right and wrong or whatever, but then there's coding up around issues that pertain to your group. Okay. And anytime someone forsakes what's in the best interest of their group, in this case, us being men being the group, anytime men have moral rights, that is a bonus that's good for men. So my opponent is absolutely still 100%, okay, a gender traitor. Now, he spoke about who I aim my petition at, or whatever, and them being Republicans. If people are not going to accept that men cannot stop women from having abortions, maybe they can get on board with the fairness of the law. Maybe they're more apt to say, hey, these laws are fundamentally unfair. If one side has it, the other side deserves to have it as well. And this is what it could realistically look like for the other side. Okay? All I'm positing is, for all the morality that my opponent wants to speak of with about it being about the fetus and the baby and all that, listen, women who are listening, who are watching, it's men like him that are your enemy. I'm really not women's enemy. Even though a lot of women claim that I'm your enemy, this is what your enemy sounds like. Okay, it's him. I'm about fairness as it concerns the law, the legality of it, not morality, legality. My opponent tonight is your enemy, so listen well. He has no qualms in saying he wants women's rights stripped away. Okay? He would have it so that you are forced to carry to term any child that gets put inside you. Think about a world like that, a world where women are forced to have every child that gets put inside them, they're forced to carry it to term. I personally, look, nothing is impossible. That's why I'm fighting for what I'm fighting for. But some people call this impossible. So he's right. It's not impossible that the law could get reversed. I just extremely doubt it. And in 2021, we would take such a large step backwards like that, that would strip women's rights away. It seems pretty archaic. I feel like any argument for it would be archaic in this progressive world that we live in today, a world where we openly say, women, you're forced to carry to term every child that you have. I don't see that happening. I think it better to make it equal by giving men a financial equivalent. That's my personal opinion. And I also personally, I'm not about forcing women to do anything with their bodies. That's never been my thing. I believe everybody should have their own freedom for their own life. Period. I don't even think the government should have a hand in this and force. There should be no child support. There should be none of that. I'm against all of that. That's a gross overstep of the government, in my opinion. All that stuff should be worked out personally amongst the parties involved. But since we are at a state where we have it like this, I believe the only way to right this, okay, and to square this circle, is to make men have a financial equivalent to abortion. Again, this morality thing about the fetus, it's about the life. People hide behind this for whatever beliefs they may have, but there's all manner of atrocities that happen in the world that their moral compass, you know, can overlook, which is why I don't get into the morality of things, because everybody's moral compass is different. So people who are just staunch against women having abortion, I don't think that it makes me their ally just because financial abortion. My stance is tied to the fairness of the law. So yeah, I guess technically women would have to have abortion for men to have financial abortion. But just like men don't have financial abortion, women have abortion. Women can have abortion rights and men still get financial abortion rights. That's a possibility too. So I'm not necessarily tied to them. There could be an unequal balance going the way of men, like there is right now going the way of women. So he keeps trying to tie me to being hooked or arm in arm with them having their rights. And I'm not. I'm just not against them losing their rights because I'm for people having personal rights. But it's inaccurate when he tries to tie me to their agenda. That's not my stance. My stance is that men deserve these rights, the same rights to be able to govern their lives accordingly. And I want men to have it, even if women were to lose their rights. I still want men to have these rights. Okay, I just speak in it and frame it from the reality that we have today.
All right. That's going to, well, we have one more. This is the last rebuttal round. My bad. This is the last rebuttal round. Then we go into rapid fire. Let me get 5 minutes on the clock. All right, brother, Sir Anthony, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger. 5 minutes on the clock.
Brother J.I., that was a good try to, make it seem as though I'm the enemy of women. I'm not the enemy of women. You say that they should have a choice, and and that's just totally against my idea of what is right for the fetus. You say that you don't think that the government should have a hand here, but you're appealing to the government. I don't think that you, in many ways, know what you're doing with this petition. You say it's about legalities, and there are reasons why the women have these legalities on their side. I don't think you know what those are. And if you don't know what they are, then we really we're really wasting our time in many ways in having this debate. And I'm sure we'll get to that later on in the debate. Women have these rights. You have a responsibility and a right to protect yourself as a man through contraception, just as much as she has the right to protect herself with contraception as well. These are things that you can do as an adult. We are in a space where we talk about saving ourselves. One of the ways that we would save ourselves is to protect ourselves. One of our content creators, the brother in Chicago that famously came up with the German Shepherd, he tells brothers to wrap it up, and he's hard on women, but he's smart enough to know to tell people to wrap it up. As things stand, that's the best thing. We have a responsibility to ourselves to wrap things up. Women have these rights to abort, and there's really no way that you're going to undo that as easily as you think you will. And that's the reason why I know that you don't really understand what you're saying when you take up this petition. The Men's Rights Initiative, they've been trying for years to put forth a financial abortion. They're putting it out there. There's a hashtag for financial abortion that's been active since 2013, but the cause itself goes back farther than that. Guys have been trying to put forth this thing for men's rights, but ultimately the whole thing ended up in basically a joke, because it is a joke. When Dave Chappelle presented it on Netflix, he put it forth out there, and brothers in this space got excited. But at the end of the day, it's just a joke. And we shouldn't be aligning ourselves with a joke. I'm proud of this space, and we have credibility challenges. But we have guys running around talking about financial abortions, which is a joke. We look bad. And I'm about having a more mature and respectable conversation about what we need as men. You talked about family courts. There's some things that need to change in family courts for brothers whose pockets are getting messed up. And what you're doing is basically, this makes it seem as though people want to, shirk their responsibilities when they have the ability to protect themselves to begin with. These are things that responsible adults do. And like I said earlier, you make your argument to be manosphere safe. Once you get out of the sandbox, you're going to go out into the broader world, and you're going to face a bunch of arguments that are based in morality and respectability and all that. And you're not so easily going to be able to defend these things. But at the end of the day, there are those of us who are actually farther ahead of you on the pro-right side. What you're proposing is a pipe dream, but we already have momentum, decades of momentum behind us. You should get on board with that.
All right. This is going to be our final goal.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, no. All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right. So my opponent was talking about, here we go again with that same nonsense. Oh, this is you just want to shirk responsibility. You just want to, all the foolishness talking about what you should do before, and all that, the same old page out of the playbook. This isn't about that. This is about rights after the fact, which is what women have in the form of abortion. Now, my opponent would try to paint me as just promoting men to be irresponsible or whatever. It's common sense to do what you can to protect yourself. But this has nothing to do with that. I don't care how irresponsible a man is. He deserves this as a right. Because what people so conveniently forget about that, on the other side of that coin, say a man's being irresponsible, there's another woman on that other side that's being irresponsible with him. The difference is that woman has rights that that man does not have. They kill me with this. Oh, well, the man should be more responsible. You knew what, blah, 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 blah. Those are, he's an enemy to men. This is how enemies to men speak. He's on women's side in this, whether he knows it or understands that or not, because this serves their agenda. He's trying to belittle my movement, my alliance with this movement, by basically what he said was, men have been trying to get this for a long time and it hasn't happened. You should just let it go, man. It's not going to happen. Listen, there are plenty of issues that have been brought forth to courts that take a very long time to come to pass. You know what has to happen? He called it a joke. He said, this is just a joke. It's a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. Listen, people said the same thing about women's rights. People said the same thing about civil rights. People said the same thing about ending slavery. You name it, people have not believed it would come to pass. And guess what? When enough people keep fighting and pushing for it, somebody breaks through. It may not be J.I., but somebody will break through. So that's a poor argument. It's just meant to dissuade people, weaker people, really, whoever can be moved by such weak words, and say, oh, well, it's going to be hard. So you just shouldn't even do that, but just do what I'm doing instead. No, because the reality is, he said it himself. They've been trying to fight for decades to reverse Roe v. Wade. Okay. But it has not come to pass yet. But that has not dissuaded him that people have been failing at it for decades. He still holds on to whatever he believes is right and he justifies it. That's what people do. They try to justify their position. Here's where his is so warped and it's so against men. Women already have these rights. Okay, men do not have these rights. Not once has it come out of his mouth that this is unfair towards men. He does not care about men. Okay, he disguises this with some, oh, well, there's nothing that can be done. You just should have been more responsible beforehand. These are lies, because this could be done. Never once does he talk about how the laws are skewed against men. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He wants to set up, oh, I don't think you understand how the legal system works. Here's how it works. There are groups of people. This is how it works in the macro. There are groups of people that believe in a cause, that appeal to the force that has the ability to enforce their views. If they're successful, they get it passed. It becomes law because the governing body has to ultimately enforce it. Okay? This happens periodically. There's changes throughout time. But if you want what you believe to be enforced, then you have to fight for it. That's what I do when I debate. That's what I did when I started my petition. My goal was to get enough movement and get enough conversation going about it to where it could ultimately spark or catch hold somewhere and go to the next level. That's what happens with these things. And we live in a day and age that you never know what can go viral. And you never know who will hear what, and what conversation it will have. That's the power of social media and the internet that we have today. But to say that I don't understand the process or whatever, he doesn't understand. Because people said these same weak arguments that he's proving about slavery, about civil rights, about women's rights, about whatever. You have to continue to fight for what's in your best interest. And I'm fighting for what's in the best interest of men. And what's in the best interest of men is for them to gain these rights legally.
And that's going to end our rebuttal round. But we're going to have a few programming notes before we go into rapid fire, because I want to just bring y'all up to speed with what we got going on next week. Wednesday. Now, Wednesday might mess around and be a double header, y'all. I haven't got the confirmation yet. I'm waiting for one more response, and it's on Wednesday night. But y'all will see the thumbnail anyway, so if it goes down, y'all will know about it. But Wednesday night, I will be having a few of ex-military brothers that I've rounded up, and we will be talking about brothers who serve the good, the bad, and the long term. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of brothers in here that are ex-military. Most of them, I'm pretty sure y'all know who they are. Y'all can pretty much take a wild guess and figure out who's gonna be here. That's going to be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. Then Thursday, the Ask the Doc series continues. Lady Nicole will be here, and she'll be taking you Negroes questions. And we'll be talking about the vaccines, the COVID vaccines, the different types of vaccines that are out. Uh, Ironically, I'm scheduled to take my shot Monday, y'all. So hopefully, yeah, I went ahead and made the appointment because they hit me on my phone and said, "Oh, you gotta come down there and get your shit." So I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna take it Monday, y'all. Now, if y'all don't see me by Wednesday or Thursday, you know the shit killed me. And you better come down here and fucking march in my honor. But yeah, Thursday night, Lady Nicole will be here, man. The Ask the Doc series returns, and she'll be taking you Negroes questions. So you need to be here 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the TPOT YouTube page. You Negroes know. Yeah, so now we're gonna get into rapid fire, and y'all know how rapid fire works. There is no clock, there is no me. It is mano e mano, hand to hand, head to head. We left off with brother J.I.He. So leading off rapid fire will be brother Sir Anthony. Brothers, pull the trigger. This is rapid fire.
Okay, brother J.I., you talked about the the process of the law, where a few people get together and they rally behind their cause, and then they get things changed. And I guess if enough people get behind that, then things can get done.
Is that true or
But
false?
there's such a thing. No, it's false. There's such a thing that we speak of. The founders of the country spoke of, well, tyranny of the majority. So they don't always get what they want. So it's false.
So it's false.
That's the answer.
Okay, you believe it's false. Okay.
I just mentioned tyranny of the majority. Just because enough people get what they want or are behind something, it doesn't mean it gets changed.
What does tyranny of the majority mean?
Basically, the idea that just because there is a majority, that they can impose their views upon the few. And the framers
So if the
of the
majority
Constitution,
imposed their views upon the few and they had the ability to physically back it up, what could the minority do against it?
there's a due process.
Who enforces the if the people decide not to enforce the due process, this stuff that you're talking about, the people who hold the power, if they say no, we're going to do it this way, we're going to enforce it this way, what can the minority do against it?
I'm not going to answer that.
Laws are only so powerful and so that they're upheld.
Do you have a question for me? Because I have more. I'm not, because this is where we get into that Dr. John Henry Clark territory where, you know, we're supposed to be equals. I'm not here to educate you, right? If you don't know something, I'm not going to educate you.
No. This is not the debate only my equals, all others I teach. This is me fundamentally getting you to understand or see if you agree with the people that have the ability to enforce the laws are the people that ultimately get to decide what the laws are. Laws have to be enforced, don't they?
Who are these people
Who are what people?
that get the ability to enforce? I think we're wasting time with this, brother. Who are these people that you're speaking of? The majority? Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, I'm talking about the people, the government. If men stand up for these rights, men can force this to get changed to make things fair legally.
I understand what you're saying with that. I mean, I'll grant you that.
Okay. So what's your next question?
So what is the law that gives women the right that has that has such an to have such an advantage over men? That makes it
What's
so
the law that
unfair
gives women
against
the
us.
right?
Yeah.
Were you talking about Roe v. Wade?
If that's your answer.
What is your answer?
No, I'm not here to educate you. I asked you a question. What's the
Well, I'm not
law?
here to educate you. The answer is Roe v.
Uh,
Wade. They got these abortion rights and states uphold it. That's the answer. We already know that. That's what we're debating about.
no,
So
now
I don't understand the relevance
we're
of the
getting
question.
into education mode now because it starts at Roe versus Wade, but Roe versus Wade got its legs off of something. It was heard in what place? Where did it get its life?
The Roe man, look, where? What is your question to me? That's your question to me?
It was
Where
heard
did it where
in the
did it get
Supreme
its life
Court,
and
right?
what is the relevance?
It
Where
was
did it
heard
get
in the
its life and
Supreme Court,
what
right?
is the relevance to this
It,
to men having financial abortion?
See, you wouldn't even be having the conversation that you're having if you knew the answer to some of these simple questions, fundamental
These are not
questions, not
simple questions,
simple.
man.
They're not simple. They're
You're
fundamental.
playing with semantics and knowing
I'm not
specifics
playing with
when I'm talking
semantics.
about how
Fundamental
law
is the
truly works.
proper term.
All that matters is that a governing body, when enough people decide that they want to change a law, if enough people fight towards that end, they will change the law. Okay? They will put it into motion because ultimately what decides all this that we're governed by is power. That's why wars happen civilly and
Oh boy.
internationally. When people decide, that's what all this comes down to. It comes down to the ability to enforce one's will. Now I'm trying to do this one way, which is go through these channels to start the petition to get it rolling, which will lead to all these little um, court cases and what you're talking about. That's one way to do it. Another way, but ultimately it has to be upheld by something. And men have the power to make it be upheld. That's the end of the story.
You don't even understand Roe versus Wade. I try to give you a hint that it was
What
heard in the
don't I
Supreme
understand? Man,
Court.
don't give me any hints.
I, I
Say
try to
what you're
give you a
trying to
hint
say
that it was
about Roe
heard
v.
in the
Wade.
Supreme Court. I asked you a question. You said Roe versus Wade, but Roe versus Wade isn't the answer. Roe versus Wade got its
Okay, so what's
legs
the answer?
through the Constitution of the United States. You're familiar with that, right? I already
Come
know
on.
that the
Yeah.
answer to that is no, but you're familiar with
Okay,
the
come on.
Constitution at least.
Mm-hmm.
Roe versus Wade gave women their rights through the Constitution. Where in the Constitution did they get these rights, Brother J.I.?
Tell me.
Now we're in the teaching mode, so we cease the debate at this point. Let's just be clear on that,
We've not
right?
ceased anything.
Now we're in teaching mode. Okay, so they got their right through the 14th Amendment, through the Due Process Clause, and it gave them this right and a protection over their liberties of freedom and privacy. And that's why we cannot come back after the fact and impose that's why we men have no rights, because we've already ceded our rights to them, literally ceded our rights inside of them, and we gave away our property by depositing it into them. That's why when brothers in the space say protect your seed, those are the brothers that are on the right side of things. But you, after the fact, not even knowing the dynamics of the law, once you have deposited into her, it becomes her property, her body, her right, so on and so forth, and she can do with it as she please. You want to make the
Do you
argument
understand that
after the
women
fact.
do you understand that women used to be the property of men
Oh, we're
in
not
this
on that
country?
right now. Okay, we're not
No,
on
no,
that
no.
now.
We're on to all of that.
Oh, well,
Because
I
what you're
understand
doing
that. Yes.
is
What
picking
are you going? Where are you
what no no
going with
no
this?
what you're doing is picking one little weird cheatum of the law, whatever. You're saying, no,
Not the weird
we
cheating.
already
We're
gave
talking
up our
about the
right.
law
No,
we're talking about the
you're trying to
Constitution,
support the whole
and you don't
no,
know
you're
it.
trying to support the whole protection beforehand because oh no, you gave it a right during whatever. When you don't even
That's the
understand that this
Constitution.
whole
The
issue,
Constitution. That's
no,
why it is the
this
way it
whole
is.
issue
used to be a non-issue because women didn't even have rights to
Oh,
begin
now
with.
we're
They were
going to go
seen
back
as
to
men's
these two.
property. Hold on. They were seen as men's property. Exactly.
Okay, I
They
understand
weren't
that. Yeah,
even
that's
seen.
history.
No. See, you don't want to acknowledge that. They were seen as
I
men's
just acknowledge
property.
it. I
So
understand
none of
that.
this
That's
even applied to
commonly
them.
known.
It was changed, which is my point. All of this changes and flows. There's ebbs and flows to this in time. So that what you just seeded once upon a time wasn't even a factor at all.
What part that that the part that women used to be men's property? You said
Yes,
what I
in this
just seeded.
country.
Oh, that's irrelevant to this.
That's not irrelevant.
I didn't pay
Did you
that
hear
any
what I
attention
just said? You're trying to appeal to the fact that we gave up our rights because of the 14th Amendment and all that. When the 14th Amendment didn't even used to apply to women, all the legalities of
Oh
this
my
playing
God!
around with
The
this.
14th Amendment is what was used to give Roe versus Wade his legs. But you don't
Yeah,
know
and do
that.
you know
We're
when?
in teaching mode.
No, we're not in teaching mode. Do you know when? Do you understand that women were not seen as being citizens? They were men's property
That doesn't apply to this.
in this country.
That's irrelevant.
Okay, so that's irrelevant.
It is.
That
I
part
just
is
said it
irrelevant.
3 times at least. I'm speaking
It's
about
not
the law
irrelevant.
that applies to
All
Roe
these
versus Wade.
legalities.
That gives women the rights that put us
What are
at a
we getting to?
disadvantage.
Because you're speaking to something completely different to what I'm
Because
speaking
I'm a
speaking to.
pro-lifer, I'm familiar with these things, and I see the
You
way
being
that the
pro-life
dynamic
means what?
works.
Your argument against financial abortion is purely just because you think that
But
it's.
but it's rooted in constitutionality, and I'm familiar with the
Listen, all
dynamics as
that stuff
such.
means what
You're
people
making
allow
a
it to
case
mean. All
to
the
create a law, and you
constitutionality of
don't understand
anything.
how the law
Listen,
goes into
listen.
process.
No, you don't understand human nature. All
We're
that
talking
what you're
about
talking.
legality again. You said
The
yourself that it's not about
constitutionality of
morality, it's about
anything is
legality. We're talking
decided
about
by who?
legality now.
Listen, the constitutionality of anything is decided by who? The Supreme what?
So
The
are you
Supreme
saying the
who?
Supreme Court?
Okay, exactly. If all this was as black
Exactly
as
what?
white, as black and white and everything as you try to make it sound, there wouldn't be a need for a Supreme Court because we would just have to read it. No, these things get interpreted and there's human
And that's
interaction
why,
that's put upon it, and there's human opinion that's put upon it.
yes, true.
So all we have to do, because we understand that this is not a let's just go to the Constitution and see what's right or wrong here. No. All we have to do is make a case for it. Enough men have to support it, and then we can get it pushed in law either by force or through legislation. That's the end of the story that I'm teaching. That's
I
the end
understand.
of the
Okay,
of the line that I'm told. All
gotcha.
this you
Okay,
want to argue about,
let me know when
that's
you're
for court.
finished.
Go ahead.
Everything you just said there is basically we all get together, we get enough people that we can go through legislation to get things done. Am I correct in summarizing what you just said?
We can start there or by force if that doesn't
Okay,
work.
okay. You're talking force now. We're way down the rabbit hole now. Okay, I give you that, but we're not going there just.
Hold on. How does any country start? How does anything
Please
start? Is it
focus,
not through
brother.
force? Hold
Focus
on.
now.
Is it
We're not
not
going
through
to get off
force?
into the weeds. Oh,
No,
I said I
that is
grant
not
you
the
that, but that's
weeds. That's
farther
at the
down
crux of
the
the
rabbit
issue.
hole,
No, because
and
you're
we're
trying to
not
make it
going.
sound like I said something incorrect. How does anything start? Is it
I
not
said
through
I'll
force?
grant you that. I said I'll grant you that.
Okay, so let's stop playing like we don't know what this is. And when I say that it's just
Well, we
alien that I
haven't
would
even
say that.
gotten to that point just yet. You're talking about going through legislation, and the reason why Roe versus
I
Wade,
said start it there.
people,
If it doesn't, if they want to play
we
around
can't
with it, then
start
it
it
needs
there
to be
because
done
it's
by
already too
force.
late. Roe
And I'm
versus
on the
Wade,
record saying that.
Roe versus Wade had preempted a legislative push that people were trying to make. Then the Roe versus Wade came about, and so now it became law through the court system. So you're talking about doing an end run about something that's already been completed.
No, you're saying that. What are you
But
saying?
see,
You're
if you
saying that
knew these
financial
things, you wouldn't
abortion
make
can't come to
half
pass
the statements that you make.
because Roe v. Wade financial abortion doesn't hold anything against the woman. What are you saying in the Constitution would make financial abortion not be able to come to pass? Is that what you're
What
trying
I'm
to get at? You're
saying,
trying to say that there's
no,
something. Are you trying to say that financial abortion will be constitutionally? It would be against the Constitution?
it wouldn't have grounds in the Constitution. or no, I'll take it that back. I'll take that back. You tell me where it I know
Hold on, you
because
broke up there a little
that
bit.
you
Say it
want to
again.
have created. I it's not so much against the woman, but the men, we
Mm-hmm.
have no grounds constitution wise. Well, I said earlier, I don't know which part you might have missed, but we could have grounds through the Constitution, but you would have to tell me how to make that happen. Because then, like I say, it's teaching mode. And you're the one that's making this petition, and you should be familiar with things. You have a petition out there, and I checked, like I said, it's been out there for 10 months, and there's an update section. You haven't updated a thing. You've been lazy on this. You've been playing in the
I've
sandbox
been
here in the
lazy on it.
manosphere.
Do you see how
Yeah.
many? Do you see how many debates I've had on this? You talking about I've
Yes,
been
because
lazy
you've
on
been
it?
playing in the
See, now we're
sandbox
now
here in the
no, hold
manosphere.
on. Now hold on. Now we're sliding off into something else. You don't even believe in this cause, and you want to talk about I've been lazy in something that you don't even believe in. When I went through the trouble of starting a petition for it, and I talk about it on YouTube and debate it frequently, as you know,
Yes,
which is how you
yes,
came
that's the
across it in the
sandbox.
first place. But you have the
That's the
nerve to
sandbox.
say that I've been lazy about it. That's disingenuous. What have you done for your cause of
I've
what
done
is it,
nothing.
pro-life?
I've done nothing
Okay,
of
then. So
note
then,
that I'm
then
sure
you're
you're going to
nobody to
accept.
stand to sit in judgment of me.
But see, that's a distraction.
That's
We're back
insane.
to
The fact
we're
that
back to
you've
the
done nothing for your
Constitution.
cause and done
You want a
nothing for
law
your
to be
side, and you
created,
you
and you're talking
you
about
dare
what I've
speak
done.
down about what I've done.
You've been playing in the sandbox here in the
Okay,
manosphere.
well you can believe that then. I've been in the sandbox. Okay,
Yes. Now, so you
okay,
created a
you can
petition,
believe
like
that.
I pointed out to you. You created a petition. You
Hmm.
pushed it to Brian Kemp, Donald Trump. These are Republicans.
Hmm.
They
This
are
is another I
pro-life.
don't like the way you've gone about it type arguments, but I'm
No, that's
against
not
what
it.
you're
But
doing
okay, let's
anyway.
get back to the
So
constitutionality because
that's
you've done the
irrelevant.
distraction. You don't even know the constitutionality of Roe versus Wade, let alone how men could actually have a constitutional path to the right that you want. You know what I mean? So that's why I said you're lazy. You're playing there in the sandbox. Could you tell me how we're going to
Oh
go
my
about
God.
getting this? You said legislation. I already told you. Some of the dissenting justices over on Roe versus Wade, you know, said that they would prefer for it to have gone through a legislative process, but it went through the courts. It went through the courts, so we have what we have. We can't do an end run through legislation now. It's a court thing.
Are you done
Yeah, I'm
with that?
done. I'm not
I was
long
letting you.
winded.
I was
That's
letting
why
you
I gave up
finish.
so much of my time.
No, you gave up much of your time because you don't have anything to say, man. Look, we're supposed to have equal rights under the
I,
law. That's not even debatable.
under what
No.
law?
To the Constitution,
Equal
we're
rights
supposed to
under
have
what
equal
law?
rights under the law. It's a
Under what
gross.
law?
It's a
Under what law?
gross
You're talking about the law, equal rights under what law?
under the law of our government. It's supposed to pertain to everybody equally.
What's the law of our government, J.I.?
Man, I'm not. As you say, I'm not going to get into this teaching mode with you. We're supposed to have equal
I
rights
just
under the
asked you a
law.
simple question. We know how we
We
like direct
don't
answers in the manosphere.
we don't have equal rights as it pertains to this issue. This is
I give you
grossly
that.
unfair.
No,
This
I'm not
is
going to give you that because, like I said, you don't understand
listen,
the dynamic
this
of the
isn't
law.
about what you're going to give me or not. This is grossly unfair. Listen, I'm of the mind and opinion all law is what I've said it is, and you've already conceded to that. These things, law isn't just set in stone from day one because all it is, it's made up. All this stuff that you talk, it's made up. People made it up. Okay, when people get ready
Okay,
to change it, it'll change. That's why there's
okay,
amendments in the Constitution.
okay. So
I'm
you
not even
want to
going to
change
play
it.
this
If you
game
want to
of
change it,
all
how are
these.
you
Do
going to
you
go
know
about
what
doing that?
court case and what law? All that needs to happen is men need to fight for their rights.
That's not all
Okay,
that needs
men
to
need
happen
to
there.
band
That's very
together
naive.
to stand up for their rights as a whole. And once enough men do, the laws will change. They will
You
be
don't even know
changed.
how to articulate the law, even on a rudimentary level, to push forth your campaign. I'm asking you basic questions at this point. And if you could just
What basic
give us,
question? Listen,
I said
you can think I don't know how to articulate it. You cannot accept how I
because
have
you're
articulated it,
going off into the
which is
weeds.
that men should have
You're
equal
getting
rights under
emotional
the
over
law.
whenever I
Men
make
should.
a, sta-
There's nothing emotional
a
about it. It's
statement.
pure, plain and simple. Men should have equal rights under the law. That's
The
period.
law
That's
of
that's the
what?
end of
The
the story.
Constitution. Okay,
That's
the
the end
Constitution.
of the
Where in the
story.
Constitution are we going to get these rights?
That's the end of the story. That's the end of it.
Where
The
in the
law should be
Constitution do
fair
we have grounds for
amongst
this?
its citizens. Period.
Women were given
That's
these
the
rights to
end
an abortion
of the
on Roe
story.
versus Wade because there was a standing for them to have the rights.
Listen. That's the end of the story. The
It's
law
not the
should
end of
be
the story.
applied
The
equally
law
to
should be
men
up.
and women, and men should have the same
You say
rights
that based on
over
what?
their future,
You say
the
that
same
based on
rights
what?
over their lives and over their life. I would
You
argue that
say now these are
it
broad
directly hinders the
brushstrokes
pursuit
that
of
you like to
happiness.
make.
I would argue that it hinders their pursuit of happiness. Men having unwanted children that they don't want and being forced to by the government. Listen,
And
all of it comes down to interpretation
that's
at the
fanciful
end of the
language.
day.
But what would you root? What would you hook it into in the Constitution?
I'm going to root it in what's right and what's wrong. And
Oh,
what
now
men
it's a
need to
morality
do,
thing. You said earlier that it's not
no,
about
what's
morality.
right and what's wrong legally as it concerns legality.
Okay, now I'm back to
Okay.
legality. Where would you hook
Because
that into in the Constitution legally?
if we play with the fact, this is a slippery slope, if we play with the fact that the laws do not have to equally apply to men and women, and that there can just be inequity in the law, because what abortion is, it's a way after the fact to abolish responsibility, to get rid of one's responsibility for whatever reason that it's had. And if we
That's
do
the
not
right that the
accept that,
Constitution gives women to
if
have
we do not
their
accept
bodies,
that on
their
one
choices.
side, no, if we do not accept that on one side, and we just say that, okay, it's just unfair, that's a slippery slope into something
A
far
slippery slope. We're
worse.
already there.
All right, well, then we're already there. But that plays into something far worse. So when we understand that the law is supposed to be equally applied to men and women, okay,
That's
and that
when
men
you say
and
something
women are
like that,
equal.
you have to have a basis on why you say that. See, I know why women have what they have, and that's why I gave the example earlier. You see your property into her, you cash app it into her body. Now it's in her account. It's her bank with only one account. Once the money's there, it's her money. So when you deposit that into her, she gets it for keeps, and then it's her private property. That's covered under
No,
the 14th
it would
Amendment.
and we could go with that if the responsibility of it cuts off at the man. But if the
But I'm
responsibility
talking
of it,
constitutionality wise. So it's
hold on,
not a
based on what
cultural
you
thing.
said, if the responsibility of it extends back to the man, then the man deserves say in it. Period.
Not once he gives
The
it up.
man should have say in it.
That's the way the law
Huh?
would look at it. He's giving it up.
No, that's not giving up, and that's unjust. Listen, these
That's not
laws,
unjust. You have the right to do what you please.
that
You
is
you have the right to
unjust
even
and
wrap it up,
unfair.
but you chose to deposit it into her and give it
No,
away.
this is about
Protect your
having
seed.
this is about having rights after the fact, which men deserve.
I
Period.
know that's what it's about to you, but I'm telling you why it can't happen through the
Listen,
Constitution.
you're telling me why you feel like it can't happen. If
No, I
enough
mentioned the
force were to
Constitution. I didn't
arise,
mention feelings
Sir
once.
Anthony, you already agree with me. If enough force arises that agrees with me and
Now we
decides to
want to go
back
on
it
to
up and
war.
enforce
You're
it,
going to take up
it's going to come
arms.
to pass. This is
Now,
what we no,
do
we're
you
not
want
going
to
to
go
play.
there now
Everything
because
comes
you
down to
can't
force.
handle the
No,
previous
hold
discussion?
on. Everything comes down to force. If you get a speeding ticket and you don't pay it, and
Okay.
you get enough speeding tickets, they will arrest you. Everything comes down to
Yeah.
force. So we're not going to
Gotcha.
play like
Gotcha.
society is held
Gotcha.
together by good intentions and things like
Gotcha.
that. We're not going to play around like that. You already agreed to this.
That you want to put
Period.
the cart before the horse now because you
No.
couldn't,
You
don't
just
have
don't want to
answers
accept
to
that it's
what
all fluid.
precedes that.
You're talking about putting carts before horses and stuff. It's all fluid. Listen, laws and all this stuff is tied
Now
into.
it's all fluid.
It is all fluid. I asked you how is any of this established, and you already ceded that violence is the root of all this, and that there
Uh,
has to be a power great enough, which we call government, but really what it is a power
oh,
capable
and
of
I'm
enough
glad that you
violence to
said
hold
that.
everybody to its rules.
I'm glad that
We've
you said
already
that
admitted
because
that. This is no different. This is no
I
different.
agree
And what I'm
that
ultimately
there's a
saying,
power.
is that men need to start doing what's in our best interest as it concerns this.
I agree with that.
And we
But
need to get
for
this
men that
done
want to
by
have
any means
children, they don't want
necessary.
women to have the power to abort them. I'm fighting for those men. We're both fighting for men. You said I was a gender traitor, but you don't care about
You
the
are a
men I'm
gender
trying to
traitor.
protect. You don't care about the
You
men
are a
I'm trying to
gender
protect.
you are a gender traitor
That's a deflection.
because you're
But I'm not
fighting
going to spend time on
because
that.
you
I would
if
like
it
to stay in
Anthony,
the
if
legality
this were to come
that
up on the
you
ballot tomorrow,
are pushing forward.
let's say this were to come up on
You
the ballot
we had
tomorrow,
to hook
would
it
you
into the
vote for it
Constitution
or would you vote against it? Hold on. Let's say that this came up on the ballot tomorrow. Would you vote for it or against it?
for your petition. You're
For
asking me.
financial abortion for men? Yes. If it came up tomorrow, would you vote for men to have it or not?
It would be fundamentally against what I'm about. I said I'm
Would
pro
you
life. I've
vote
established
for
my
it or
freedom.
against it, man? That's not a
So
trick
no,
question. Would you vote for
I
it or
wouldn't
against
vote
it?
it for it. I wouldn't vote for it. No.
Okay, so you would vote against it. That is why I said you are a traitor to men. Women already have
Okay.
what they
I'll
have.
let you have that. You can have that. I'll be a traitor towards men. Okay. But now let's get
You
back to
are.
the
That's
legality of things.
you factually are. Because women understand,
Actually,
hey, even if I won't exercise abortion, I'm not gonna vote for the right to be stripped away
you're making a
from
cultural
women.
argument now.
A
Let's
lot
get
of
back to the
women,
legality.
a lot of women code up and they do what's in the best interest of their
I
children.
understand that.
Men do not have that. Not enough men have. That's why we're in this issue, this predicament in the first place.
I understand where you're going with that. Yes. Okay. I grant you that. Now let's get back to the
Okay.
legality.
All right.
You're proposing for a law to be created. Let's talk the law. You don't have an answer. At least say that I don't have an
An answer
answer
for what? I've given you my.
for
You don't like my answers, but I've given you my answers.
because you want to talk about
I gave
force.
you. Listen, I gave you my
You
answers.
want to talk about force. You want to theoretically
Yes,
go about
that's what
so
this
no,
all comes
the
down to. I'm not.
manosphere
I'm not
and
gonna
men
play this
all over.
game
We're
with you.
going to
Just
take up arms and we're going to
yes,
fight against the government to
yes,
have our right to
yes,
financially abort. That's what you want to
yes,
put out there, right? Okay, gotcha.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You know,
that's exactly what I want to put out there. Men need to fight. Listen, this is how it
okay.
works anywhere and everywhere. We have to fight for what is in our best interest. We've understood this all throughout time. It is only now in this day and age that people have been so, because of all this technology and luxury and all these things, that people have, I guess, quote unquote, kind of, at least in first world countries, kind of forgotten that this is how these go. But when the laws are inherently against you, it is your
You don't even know
it is your
that the law
duty
is
to
not
change them.
inherently against you. You don't even know that it's not inherently against you.
These laws are inherently
You
against
don't
us.
even you
And
can't even articulate. You have no understanding on how the law is not inherently
law is
against you.
executed by people.
Even the use of the
Laws
word
executed by
inherent, it's
people
not
which
inherently
who
against you.
have their own agendas. And if the agenda is against men, so you don't think that the government is fundamentally a lot of their laws and how they execute laws is against men with family court and all these things, you don't think that they're against men?
Oh, I'll give you that. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. But we're
So
talking
then what
about
are you talking about?
financial
Then
abortion.
what are you
You're
talking
not talking
about?
about family law reform. You're talking about
That they
financial
were
abortion.
against men.
You're talking about
All that
we're
listen,
not
that would
talking
cut off
family
first off,
law.
that would cut off family court at the legs for a lot of men. And then also family
So with
court is a
abortion,
separate issue
fetal
that
abortion,
needs to be addressed. Because you wouldn't even have to worry about family court if you had financial abortion. You wouldn't have to worry about it at all.
you wouldn't have to worry about financial abortion if you had got rid of fetal abortion.
All right. That's going to be time, brothers. Now we go into closing statements. We let off with brother Sir Anthony, so we'll be leading the closing statements off with brother J.I. 7 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger, brother J.I. Closing statements.
All right. So in summation, he already admitted that he's a traitor to men. And he is a traitor to men. All right, whatever fame, fable, morality, or whatever he seems to hold. Listen, this is what it comes down to, people. This is what it comes down to on the macro. All communities, okay, we're governed by what we call governments. There's different styles of governments. All it is what the collective of people choose to allow to govern them. All right. So whenever there comes a time that your government does not serve you, this whole country, America, was built on revolution and built on breaking away from a greater power in and of itself. So when he tries to speak down and belittle these points and, oh, you want to put the cart before the horse. No, this is how all things have come to be how all countries and governments have come to be. And once you reach a point where your government no longer serves you, that's just the reality of it. You may have to have revolution. You may have to do whatever is necessary to change it. Okay. He wants to get into the legalities of it and all these things. I'm proposing. I won't lie. There were definitely better people if this were to gain, more traction. Everything. There's men's rights, activist groups, and everything that are trying to push these things. But all they're going to be doing is saying in legalese what I'm saying in common sense, that this is unfair. The law is supposed to be fair to its citizens. Period. That is a fact that all people. Hold on a second.
You want to pause the time for him?
No, I'm already back. All right. This is a fact that all people understand. The law is meant to be fair and it should be applied fair amongst the citizens. That was a lot of what these civil rights things was about. The issue of unfair laws and the law not being applied fairly to its citizens. We are just at a point in this day and age where the law is not applied fairly to men. There are things that blatantly favor women. We understand what those are. We talk about them ad nauseum here in this space. But this has to go beyond this space. This has to grow into a legal movement, okay, where we seek legal change. That change can come about, you know, through the legal system, through all of that, or it can come about through force. And if there are enough men that will stand behind that and back that, it will certainly come about through force, because everything in this world has come about that way. It's only in this day and age where men have grown so soft as to have forgotten common sense. Okay. And this, in my opinion, is worthy of revolution simply for the fact that it impacts all men. That's half of a country. Half of a country is more than enough. Revolutions have been started by far less groups of people. Period. Come on. But again, at the heart of this is not, do not be misled about his be responsible beforehand, use protection. That is a red herring, okay? That is a deflection from the point, which is what the issue is: men having their control over their own destiny and their own fate. Okay, the same way that women do. And guess what? That only comes into place after the fact, because women have abortion rights after the fact. It's not based upon how responsible she was. It's not based on any of that. I don't even hear that. That's just nonsense to me. That's an admission that you're just purely wrong. Okay, because even in my petition, which he read, it states that it's after the fact. They like to run to something else because they want to disguise the fact that they're just purely against men for being against men's sake. My opponent hides behind this, oh, I'm just pro-life and they can't go. He already told you that he's a traitor. And if this came up on the docket tomorrow, even though women already have abortion rights, he will vote against it out of some misguided sense of morality that it's just inherently tied to abortion and it's wrong to have either. This is madness. Okay. Call it what you will. This man stands for whatever he believes in. He's not for men. That's just, he even said it himself. He's not. So you have to decide if you're going to be for men, and men, if you're going to be for what's in your best interest. I said it at the beginning of the debate. This is a simple A equals B logic. If the law is equal and under the law, A can do it, then that means B should be able to do it as well. Let me say that again, because amazingly, it just gets missed in this debate. If the law is equal and A can do it, then B should be able to do it under the law as well. Yet as it pertains to abortion, women can do it. It's an after the fact thing. Men have no equal equivalent to it, even though it affects their life just as much. This what Anthony's talking about, this, oh, you gave her your sperm, so now it's her property, do with that she will. That could fly if all the responsibilities shifted to her as well. But since the responsibility is still very much on the man, then he should very much still have a say. See, they're disingenuous in their arguments, and they're really just against men. That's what this really just comes down to. All right. And the reason I keep this away from morality is because wherever you draw your morals from, be it Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever, if you're Hindu, all the thousands, you're Jedi, whatever religion you cling to that you get your morals from, the law the law, first of all, is not supposed to be based off any religion. All right, it's supposed to be neutral. And it's supposed to apply to everybody equally. So even if you're against abortion in any form, if the reality is that legally women can do it, then legally men should have an equivalent under the law, just because by virtue of the fact that the law is supposed to be equal. This is simple A to B logic. It's unfair. And just like any time in times past when the laws become unfair, it's up to us to change them by any means necessary.
All right. 7 minutes on the clock. Brother Sir Anthony, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger. Closing statements.
My opponent is correct when he says that I would vote against this tomorrow if it were on a ballot. I said that I would vote against this because I'm pro-life. As pro-life, I would be voting or doing my activity, putting that behind doing away with the right to abortion altogether, with certain limitations, of course, for health reasons, against the R word and so on and so forth. And if I were to succeed in my endeavors, there would be no need for a financial abortion. Men would not have to go for that. And as my opponent alluded earlier, if they were to be given those rights after, and women were not able to have an abortion, then, then we would just flip the script. It would be lopsided on our side. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that at that point. If we did away with fetal abortion, and then we still have financial abortion, hey, I'm cool with that. But I want to do away with fetal abortion. I want Roe versus Wade to be done away with. I heard my opponent state that it's not about legalities, but all of a sudden legalities are a problem for him. When he's actually proposing a law to be made. He's proposing a law, but he says it's not about legalities. And when I try to get him to explore these things, knowing that he's unable to do so, I watched him squirm and wiggle and try to get out of it, and then go on to outright anarchy and going against the government in order to secure these rights. I would say that my opponent doesn't even know where that idea is rooted in our legal documents of our country. While he was speaking, let me just read this to you, because, like I say, I don't have very much more to say. I think all has been said. This is a legal issue, and to say that we are at a disadvantage where you don't understand the law, we're not at a disadvantage. Or as far as unfairness goes, it's not unfair to men. We have our sovereignty to be able to protect ourselves against these things. Once we give away certain things, then it's no longer ours. We're not equal as men and women. We are different. We have different plumbing. We have outies, they have innies. So things will be different based simply on that fact. So what he's looking for is not about so much equality, but equity. And that doesn't come into play as far as the Constitution is concerned in this discussion. We have our control prior to all this, but my opponent does not want to speak on any of that because he only wants to focus on the part after a woman gets pregnant. However, once he leaves the sandbox of the manosphere, he's going to go out into the world and face real politicians, real political activists who are going to bring out everything with guns blazing, every argument possible, moral arguments, and so on and so forth. I tell you this, once you step out of the sandbox, it will be a moral argument that does you in. My opponent doesn't even understand the moral underpinnings of these things that go into his argument. And for those who are coming against him, he doesn't understand the legalities of it. We could further explore those things, but he doesn't know them. So that's why he makes certain statements that he says, and he's trying to get me to say things like, is it unfair? And depending on how you look at it, but if you look at the Constitution and how it sets things up and gives women the rights that they have, it's not really unfair if you understand how it works. He says that if A, a woman can do it, then B, a man should be able to do it. That's disinformation. It's a logical flaw when you're trying to apply it to this. This doesn't have to do with so much logic in that regard. We're talking about the law. And I think we can all agree that sometimes the law doesn't fit into logic. While I got a little bit of time left, I'll throw my opponent a bone on this. And it's from the Declaration of Independence, one of our nation's documents. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governor. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government. That's where you get your violence. I see where you're going with that, but you couldn't even articulate that if you were to try. That's the problem with this debate, with this particular debater. He makes good statements that sound good to the ear to many of us in the manosphere, but when you dig deeper, he doesn't understand where those things come from. We have the rights to, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Women have those rights too. And that's why Roe versus Wade came into being. Women have rights, and if you give them your seed, it's their right to do with it as they please. Now, you can't come on the tail end for legal reasons and say, oh, I want, a financial abortion. You don't even know why you can't do that. That's why this debate in many ways is problematic, where we cease to debate and we go into teaching. Do your homework, do the updates to your petition. You have the ability to do so.
All right. That is going to bring our debate to a close.
All right, let me say this to him.
Go ahead.
The whole reason, all right, because the things that he read, that he pulled up the Constitution, all this, he wants to frame it as if I'm just completely unknowledgeable about these things. That's fine. It's not the case. I've spent a great deal, researching into all these things behind the
Are
scenes.
we still debating?
Things have not just sat idle. Listen,
I mean,
all this stuff comes down to
the debate
sense.
is actually
when
over.
He tries to get into all this. That's where you
brother,
get your violence
stand
from.
down.
Stand
down.
From every now and
I've
then,
ceded much of my time to this brother, and he's still talking.
Patriots and tyrants,
I've ceded at least 3 minutes of my time to him, and he's still talking.
Hold on.
This is after the debate.
Polls. Let's go to the polls first, because we go to the polls. So what we're gonna do, we'll go to the polls, and then we'll get ready for the question and answer round. All right. But before we go to the polls, I have a question for you Negroes in the audience. Why are the views not matching the likes? Hit the goddamn like button. Jesus. If you're not going to hit it on the way in, at least have the courtesy to trip over it and fall on it and hit it on the way out. But we now go to the polls. If you believe Brother J.I. won the debate, put a J in the chat. If you believe that Brother Sir Anthony won the debate, put an A in the chat. Put a J in the chat for Brother J.I. Put an A in the chat for Brother Sir Anthony. Do not vote twice, because if you do, my moderators will block you. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. You're just going to be blocked. Let's go. Come on. And hit that damn like button, too. Right after you put that letter in the damn chat, hit the damn like.
All right, so while they're doing the vote thing or whatever, see, he makes these appeals to authority when what it really comes down to is common sense and human nature. All right, you can
It's a
appeal to
legal
whatever
thing.
law you want. It's
He's
made
making
up.
it legal.
All that
He's
stuff is
trying to
made up.
talk about a law. It's not about logic and common sense. He's trying to
Stop this madness. All that stuff is made up. What laws are what people agree to govern them. That's why every civilization goes against them when it suits them. Then new laws are made. That's why blacks used to be slaves. Now we're not. That's why women used to be, now they're not. All that stuff is made. Going to that, inciting that, appealing to that authority, I wholeheartedly reject it. And that's why I speak in common sense ways that I do. Okay. Because what we do agree on, everybody just innately understands that the law should be fair. Now, there's different legalese. There's a way that you can frame it or whatever. That's not a difficult thing to do. All you have to do is go through and say this nonsense that he appeals to. Okay, he appeals to that because he feels like that gives him some ground of being right or wrong. It does not matter to me. Okay, which is why I speak in the simple language of simplicity. If one side can do it, the other side should be able to do it from a purely fair point of view. Okay, we can talk about all the other stuff that falls into it. We can debate all that, but all this stuff is made up. All this stuff is made up. That's why it changes with time. Where'd he go? Did he drop off, X?
I believe he did. Come on back, Sir Anthony. And y'all get to voting and get to liking. Get to doing something out there, damn it. Y'all know I like to watch. You know I like the watching now to at least match the likes. Only takes you 2 seconds, man, to slide your mouse over and hit that like button. Folks, don't be lazy. I don't have a lazy audience. I don't have a lazy audience. Hit the daggone like button. Folks, you got the energy. I know you do. You probably worked all day today. You probably just got in from the gym and you're like, X, I just want to watch. No. Don't just watch. Hit the damn like button. Oh, there he is. Brother Sir Anthony is back. Got to be more people voting in this, man. Brother Stoic said people must be signing into their second accounts.
these are our brothers. I got love for all of them.
Me
And our
too.
sisters. I see Sister Nicole out there. Even though she voted against me, I still love her.
Come on, folks. I would play the Jeopardy music, but the last time I did that shit, they struck me. God damn you. God damn you, YouTube.
I think that's all we're gonna get on the votes.
Well, if the vote ends now, it was actually pretty close, but J.I. narrowly takes the victory. Narrowly.
I knew
Yeah.
I was coming in. I knew I was coming in with as the visiting team. Salute to you, brother J.I. Thank you for extending the this challenge to me. Like I said, or when we were in the chat, you caught me off guard with this. And it's a privilege to be here on your platform, Brother T.P.O.T. Thank you.
To be honest with you, yeah, man, no problem, man. Everybody can come up here and throw down.
Yeah, good debate.
To be honest with you, that's the closest ever that anyone had. I don't know if that's any consolation, but it's been the closest debate that J.I.'s had up here thus far. The closest one. He only beat you by 1 point. 1 point.
I'll take that. Congratulations, bro.
Like I said, I don't know if that's any consolation, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But yeah. So now we go into the question and answer round. Y'all know how this is played. If you have questions for my debaters, wait a minute. Now it's tied. Now it's tied. Brother
Thank
Anthony,
you, sir, for
brother Sir
that.
Anthony.
Thank you to Village Arsonist. Salute.
It was already called.
Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute.
Let me thank you, NYC Song Man, Ronnie Ron. Salute.
It was already called. It's over.
Sister Nicole, you know, I mean, I won't be coming to your channel for a week. Psych.
It's a tie, man. It's a tie. It's a tie now. Come on, folks. Now you got it a tie. Damn it. I hate that.
I won. Somebody else just vote for me.
Bitcoin L. I would know that Bitcoin L would go for Brother J.I.
But in all seriousness, okay, I'm Brother Anthony, I'm not a lawyer, nor do I pretend to be. I do know the Constitution, those things that you saw. The reason I don't know if you heard that part when I said it. The reason I don't attack it that way is because I attack it from a common sense point of view, because honestly, all this stuff is made up. And what I'm saying is true, which is why you agreed with it. If enough men decide to get rid of this, it will be rid of. And that's what all this stuff stems from it. Law to me is just what the words that people choose to allow to be their excuse for doing what they do, in all honesty. That's why there's amendments to it. It's just what people wrote on the paper. People can go to it, to hold it, to do whatever. But it's we have to accept that living today for it to mean anything. And the moment people stop accepting it, it doesn't mean anything. It's words on a piece of paper. And we all agree and understand you don't have to be a lawyer to understand that the law should be fair between men and women. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that it's currently not being fair towards men and women. And to try to get into legalese and all that foolishness, there's why there's common sense cases and children getting locked up for years and things because legally it was allowed to somehow, because somebody was able to rope it into the law. This is why the law, these law arguments, and I understand what you were saying, but this is why I don't make those arguments. I come at this from a purely legal standpoint, as in what's right versus what's wrong. Not from a morality standpoint, but from the point that right in the legality sense means it has to be fair for both sides. Not from a morality standpoint, but from a legal standpoint, it has to be right from both sides. Be fair on both sides. So if it's not fair, you can clearly see that A and B do not equal, then you know that the law has failed there. It's a simple calculus that way. And that's why I debate it the way that I do.
Even with those late votes still put those late votes, because some late votes did come in and it put J.I. in the lead. So we're gonna go ahead and call it. $5 super chat from brother Black Oral Strikes. Appreciate that $5, brother. He says, if the man's sperm becomes the property of the woman, why should the man be financially responsible for the results of what she does with the property? I'm assuming that's for you, brother Sir Anthony.
Thank you, brother Black Uru Strikes. Thank you for that. I've given that some thought. I guess the short answer, I'll say that that's the way it is, and that's why, going about this, talking about the financial abortion, you'll be hard pressed to get people on your side for this thing. even stepping away from my stance as a pro-life activist or pro-life advocate, just the idea of men, after they impregnate someone, not being able to pay is a very hard sell, and society really isn't really be really isn't going to go for it like that. But once it becomes her property, to get to your question, why? Let me read it. If a man's sperm becomes the property of the woman, why should the man be financial? Um, that's just the way it is, bro. I could dig deeper and try to educate myself more. It's that's the way the deck is stacked against us, and we know that in the manosphere. So if I were to uh, give advice to a young man, I would tell him that, that's the way it is. So protect yourself. I, I sometimes I don't sufficiently answer people's questions. So if that's the case, say something, and I'll try to take another stab at it.
Well, let me
Let
ask you
me.
a question. Hold on a second, brother J.I. Let me ask you a
All right.
question, brother Sir Anthony.
Sure.
Why did you pick the pro-life path? Like, I mean, what brought you to that where you're pro-life? Because you're not born that way, so obviously, you became that way, or you always been that way since you were like a teenager. Whatever the case may be. Why that path? Why that theory?
Deep personal traumas.
Okay, that's what made you become pro-life because
Yeah.
of okay, some personal trauma. Okay, good enough. We can leave it there.
So
Um,
the,
Go ahead, brother J.I. You got it.
So
let
I,
me
I
address
just
the chat.
basically I am
When I say
pro-life.
it's not,
Yeah,
when I
it's just
say
not a
it's
philosophical
moral,
thing. It's just that's what I am. I'm sorry, brother Jay. I mean, that's basically who I am, and that's where I stand. So it's not
Okay.
like I'm just trying to debate the points on this. I am pro-life, and I think I'm the only one that's debated, brother J.I., that is really pro-life. So that's the only way that I could go about approaching it.
Okay. Go ahead. You got it, brother J.I.
all right. So let me, because I think Village Arson says something about moral and legal right and wrong being different. No, 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 no. Morality is what you think is right or wrong because it's right or wrong. Legality is what's the legal version of right and wrong is what's punishable by the law that governs it. The difference there, and why I say law or not, there were slave laws. I don't think anybody in the Black manosphere will argue that those laws were moral. Okay. Legality and morality are not the same. So when I say right and wrong from a legal standpoint, I'm not appealing to morality. I'm saying that the fundamental um I'm saying that the fundamental root of legality is that it's right or wrong has to apply equally to its citizens. All right. Everybody has to be treated fairly under the laws that are part of that society. That's the right and wrong I speak of, not from a moral standpoint, but from that legal standpoint. I understand if it may be hard to discern the difference sometime because we just say right or wrong because I know what I'm referring to. So that's why I'm clearing that up.
See like I said earlier, the morality is going to come your way, brother J.I., and it's going to come heavy. So once we step out of the
I
space,
debate it all the time.
I know,
If
but
your
once
if
we
your
step out of
argument
the
is for me
space,
to make a better argument once it steps out of here, a better this is the way that I appeal to it. The men's rights that you've been talking about, they've been attacking it from the legal aspect that you're talking about, right? They've been going at it from those standpoints that you're talking about. I
gotcha.
come at it from this standpoint. And the reality is, listen, all this stuff is made up. All this stuff is at the whim of the people. Nobody ever thought that we'd be in a day and age where, gay people could openly be married, or trans people were just openly accepted. This is where we're at now. So to try and pretend that just because this will be a difficult thing to get accomplished, that it's somehow impossible or not worth pursuing, I reject that wholeheartedly. And just
Oh
to
well,
pretend that,
I mean, I
go
said,
ahead.
we both can identify with, uphill battles in regards to this thing. We're just on opposite sides of the fence. So we're out of debate mode, and I'm just chopping it up with you. I wouldn't discourage you from trying to push forward your your campaign by no means. But in
Shut
doing so, I would say that you arm yourself with better information for the things that are going to come your way to be able to, fight your fight.
shout out to my brother Big Nate in the house. What's good with it, brother? I see you up there. So let me ask you this. I see. I got all my questions off for you, brother Sir Anthony, because brother J.I. done asked him every goddamn thing I could possibly ask him at this point. Um, are you when you say because are you think that men shouldn't have the right, obviously, to just financially abort, right? Because you also stand against uh physical abortion, or should I say clinical abortion. You're against that, therefore you feel like men shouldn't be able to financially abort either. Is that kind of like your position or no?
Well, no, I said at the end that um, I'd be fine with financial abortion or the idea as long as we got rid of uh, fetal abortion
Mm,
because I'm pro-life. I can't make the argument, for pro-life as Brother J.I. said it for us because he's not trying to take away what I'm fighting to take away. And I
mm,
see that, he can gain what he wants in many ways if I have my way.
mm,
I want to take away the right to abortion, just like the Republican Party has taken that stance. We know that the Democratic Party is on the opposite side of that issue. Um, but I want the life of the fetus to be protected, and I'm
okay.
against abortion. I want that to be done away with, whatever, however we can go about that.
Oh, okay. So so okay. Do you see brother J.I. as an ally to do you see him as an ally to the pro-abortion movement? Do you see him as an ally to those people? Or him, or well, let me rephrase the question. Do you think that brother J.I. with his petition is synchronous with the pro-abortion folks?
Yes,
Mm, okay. Okay.
he's intrinsically in line with them and tacitly makes the argument for them to
Hmm.
keep their right.
Wow. Do you believe do you think that Ji that you're like kind of synchronous, like an ally of the pro-abortion people?
No, no, hold on. Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Can you All right, just making sure because I switched headset. All right, but no, I don't. What I say is I'm not against them. And Anthony, I mean, I understand his point. He's saying that since I'm not against them, it's pretty much bad enough, just as bad as being with them. So he just slates me as an enemy off the strength of that, which I understand. I understand because if somebody took a neutral position against something that I was against, I can see how you just slate them as an enemy. But no, I'm not fighting for their rights by any means. No.
Mm, okay. I kind of figured that, but thanks for fleshing it out.
I don't think Brother Jay ever really looked at it this way because he hasn't debated a pro-life
I
opponent up
assure
until
you, I've
now.
looked at it always.
Okay,
I assure you,
I
I've
take
looked at
I,
it always.
I take that back. Then I take it back.
And I've had
So
this conversation, this debate at length in real life as well. So
mm,
I've come across pretty much every instance. But on YouTube, you're the first person to take a staunch pro-life position on it, and I think that's why you did so well, because you rooted yourself in that argument, even though that argument is still rooted in being unfair towards men.
Well, like I said before, I understand the dynamics of how it works, so I wouldn't so easily say it's unfair towards men. But I can understand where you're coming from in that regard. So for generally speaking, yeah, I could see how people would say it's unfair towards men, and I'll grant you that as well.
so I usually y'all know how we do this. I ask the debaters, do they want to open it up, bring a few brothers on? Is that all right with you, brothers? I'll bring a few people up because I know some brothers want to get a piece of this. Brother J.I., Brother Sir Anthony.
Sorry, I'm fine, sure.
Okay. Brother J.I., you cool with that? And he probably stepped away. He probably had a phone call or something. All right.
I'm here.
Y'all know that.
You already know how I get down, though. You invite.
All right. So if you wish to come up, you already know what it is. If you want to come through, it's Prophet of Thought at yahoo.com. That's Prophet of Thought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. If you want to come up, send me an email and I will send you the link. I promise I will send it. I'll send it fast too, like soon as I see it.
He'll send the link. T.P.O.T is good for sending the link. Hey, so let me ask you this question, Brother Anthony. Well, just since we in just chop it up mode.
Oh, shoot.
What is right and wrong in your opinion? What makes the fetal killing the fetus? What makes it wrong to you?
Well, the life aspect of it, the way that the current law stands, it gives women those first 90 days within the first trimester. It says that it's not really life enough, but I say that at conception, it's life, which is what the state of Texas saw it as before it even reached the Supreme Court for Roe versus Wade. I see at conception, it's life. We could say that. I don't think anybody would doubt that, there's life in bacteria, or maybe even, I don't know, to make a stretch, I guess, as far as viruses go, there's life. So we're not going to say that a fetus isn't life, at
Are you against the
conception.
death penalty? Are you against the death penalty as well? I'm trying to understand. Are you against killing in all scenarios? Are you against the death penalty as well?
I'm religious wise, I'm a Quaker, so yes, I'm against the death penalty, even war.
Okay, so you're just against killing in any sense. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Except for self-defense.
Are you a vegetarian?
Except for self-defense.
Okay.
The answer to your next question is yes as well.
What was my next question?
Am I a vegetarian?
Okay. All right. You don't believe that you're killing plants? You don't believe the plants are alive?
Yeah, I try my best. You know what I mean? I try my best. You
I'm just
won
saying,
that one.
you draw the line at life. You don't think that plants are living?
Yeah. Hey, I concede. I know. I see where it goes. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're killing plants. To answer your question directly, yes. Killing plants.
So if you're killing plants because plants are if your through line, your moral through line, is you don't believe in killing things, except for, you said, in self-defense, then plants, and you don't believe in killing living things. Plants are living things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then plants are living things, but you excuse that away because it serves you, and because they have no voice to cry out against you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess, like I said, I don't have a problem with killing in terms of self-defense. Even though I stated I'm a Quaker,
Uh-huh.
we have those that would not go so far as to even say that. I guess in order to survive,
You have Quakers
that
that disagree with you in that?
yeah, Quakers are, we won't get into that. I mean, but we argue all the time on philosophical things.
So then you understand that all this is made up.
Oh, yes, I grant you that. Yeah,
So you agree that all law is an extension of rules that people made up.
I'll grant you that.
So then you agree that if tomorrow everybody got together and said, forget this, the Constitution, whatever, we're doing everything by these rules going forward, that everything else that came before wouldn't even matter. You agree?
I could give you that. I don't know what relevance it has, though, in the grand scheme of things.
Because you kept saying that basically that going forward, when I step out of the sandbox, I need to strengthen my argument in
Yeah.
terms of playing at a higher level in great arena. And it's not that I don't have better suited arguments for that type of arena, but there are going to be people, if it gets to that level, that are far better suited to handle the legalese of it. Because like I said, I don't care for it because of what you just admitted. All this stuff is
Well,
made up
well,
inherently.
that sounds very naive. For you to be the person who's putting forth this petition. You don't. That's very
That's not
naive.
naive.
Yeah, you said there'd be other
That's not
people who
naive.
are more well suited to speak to the argument. You should have some type of understanding of the argument and to see it down the line, as
And I told you
before
in
you
that
pass it off
arena,
to these people.
I do. But
And
once it gets to that point, I would debate if somebody invited me on the world stage or whatever. I would debate, and I don't have any qualms in doing that. And I would definitely, it'd be a different
the
approach I
debate
would
that
take
we're
to it, but
talking.
it would just be added on. It wouldn't my overall argument wouldn't change. My petition is simple and it's outlined exactly what I mean. And that's
I
really all it
understand
comes down to.
I understand. I pointed that out. I said there's an update section, and you haven't visited that. So it sits there as is. But when the debates that you're going to be facing are in Facebook, YouTube, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, the
Mm-hmm.
ABC News, Fox News, and
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff is going to be coming your way, and it's not going to be so neat and tidy as it is in here.
If it ever gets there, I'll handle it.
Yeah. How about that, brother J.I.?
What's that?
Are you ready to stand off against Pelosi and Schumer and all these other people? Are you ready to stand off against these people? Because you may
Yeah, if
have
I've
to.
got some kind of
Yeah, because if this goes far enough, you'll end up probably testifying in front of Congress or something like that, right? Eventually.
if I end up being the face, quote unquote, the werewolf from YouTube, if I end up being the face of financial abortion, yeah, I'll be able to do it.
But you
100%, no qualms, no questions about it.
you already conceded that it's already been out there for at least maybe let's say 20 years now. Men have
Mm-hmm.
tried earlier, and so the face is I mean, it's actually doesn't have much steam, and I think because of the moral aspect. And
You know
that's
that there's this thing about things going viral. It can happen, randomly, and it's not often the first person that
that's a
does
hopeful
something that
statement,
makes it
though.
go viral. It's just, it just depends on the conditions of the climate at the time.
True. I can see where you're going with that. And in
And I
fact,
don't believe I'll end up being the face of financial abortion by any stretch of the imagination. But
I got you.
the question was if I do, will I be able to step up? And absolutely, 100%.
All right. We got a $5 super chat from Brother Stork. Appreciate that $5 super chat. Brother Stork, he says, question to Sir. Would you agree with a resolution that would only allow child support for children born within a marriage to the married party?
Would I agree to allow child support? Could you read that again, please, brother X?
All right. He says, would you agree with a resolution that would only allow child support for children born within a marriage to the married party?
Oh, I would agree to that.
All right. Got another super chat from my brother, BMT. What's good with it, brother BMT? Appreciate that super chat, brother. He says, how does he suppose Big Pharma to side with J.I.? That's a good question.
How does he suppose that Big Pharma to side with J.I.? I guess, but
is that question to J.I. or is that question to Brother Sir Anthony? Is it Brother J.I.'s question or Brother Sir Anthony's question? I don't know who he's addressing it to. Unless he's addressing it to both of you. I don't even know. Who you addressing it to, Brother BMT?
Shout out to BMT. He was also BMT was actually the first person to let me get off this financial abortion stuff, even though he doesn't, agree. I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to BMT for setting me up as a moderator on his channel.
He says it's for you, Brother J.I. That question's for you.
How do I get Big Pharma to side with me? I mean, I don't know. The only way to get them to side with me would be to do something that's monetarily in their interest, I would guess. I don't know what's in the, monetary interest of Big Pharma. I haven't thought about that. They're going to do what they have to do to push drugs and things to continue making money, suppressing cures and things like that. I don't know that financial abortion really affects them. I don't know how it does. What do you think, Brother Anthony?
I would say that Big Pharma is already on Brother J.I.'s side as a tacit advocate for pro-choice for women. We have the morning after pill that's already out on the market, Plan B. They're already on his side, that side. I would be working as pro-life to try to get rid of such things. He's not fighting against abortion or anything like that. So Big Pharma is on his side.
See, that's another mistake that he keeps making. He keeps assuming that whatever is good for women in that vein is good for men, but it's not. Because them being for, morning after pills, abortion, whatever, that doesn't help men. That's not men having rights. That's women having rights. But see, he keeps lumping me in with them because he just sees us as connected. But I don't think that we are.
I mean, I admit it. I'm biased. I'm pro-life. I don't run away from that.
Fair enough. Hey man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about Quakers. Are Quakers allowed to have multiple wives?
No, that's not us.
Okay. Do Quakers follow the Bible?
Some do.
Okay.
I think that's Mormons who can have multiple wives. Those are the Mormons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Mormons can, but I didn't know if Quakers could too.
Yeah.
I thought they came from that same old school thing where you could do that.
No, that's never been the case for us.
Okay.
Right. Do you come from a Quaker family, Brother Sir Anthony? Is your whole family Quaker, or is that just you? You come
not
from
not everyone in my family, no. But yeah, I do have Quakers in my family. I'll say on these YouTube streets, and it's not like a brag thing because he catches much heat, but Byron Rustin is a family member of mine, a past family member. Some people call him an agent of the government. We all know his orientation and everything. And family members have been very critical of him. Yeah, so I have Quaker in my family.
Okay. Well, the Quakers are still Protestant, though, right? Well, man, I don't know Jack diddly squat, but it's still. Yeah, I don't know much about Quakers. That's why I'm asking. But they're still like Protestant, right? Y'all are still considered quote unquote Christians, right? Or no?
Yeah, mostly yes. And I say mostly because there are actually some that are, and it's hard for people to wrap their mind around how, but there are some atheist Quakers. So
Oh,
that's like I say, we can go off into the weeds. But yes, most are Protestant. Yes, the majority.
And even within that, there's people who disagree on what that means and what that looks like. It's all subjective.
Indeed.
yeah. I don't know too much about Quakers. I know people that are Mormons. And I always ask them. I'm like, do y'all got like 10 wives? Back at the crib. And they're like, no, ex, we're not those kind of Mormons.
No, I'm not a Mormon. People put me with the guy on the box, the Quaker guy.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the funny hat. The guy with the funny hat on.
Yeah.
You don't have one of. Do you have one of those hats in your closet,
No,
brother?
no,
Sir,
sir.
Anthony, with the buckle on it. The 10-gallon hat with the buckle on it.
No, none of that.
Oh God, that's crazy.
Hey, do Quakers believe in a heaven or hell?
The Protestant ones do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but he said some of them are atheists. How the hell you a Quaker and an atheist? Like I don't understand.
I guess they just subscribe to the Quaker way of life and just not the belief system.
Yeah.
And the best way that I describe that is like Brother J.I. kind of made mention of this in regards to this argument. You could be one thing at one point in life and then later be something else.
So the religion evolves. It evolves, or do you evolve?
A person's religion evolves.
Okay.
So I say when I what used to be a Christian, I don't count myself as a Christian any longer.
Okay.
But then I could really come back to that. So we're not all in the same place.
So you're not a Christian Quaker. You're a Quaker, but you're not a Christian Quaker.
Correct. Because like it's Brother J, I mentioned earlier, it's fluid. I'm in transition. I went to Stations of the Cross just yesterday. So I'm still in touch with things, asking and trying to answer questions, so on and so forth, trying to find answers, and it's a fluid thing. So whereas though I don't claim myself to be Christian today, that could be different next year, with different revelations, so on and so forth. I could be Muslim.
Do you believe in hell?
No.
Do you believe in heaven and hell? No?
No.
Okay. I don't either.
I think only the ones who wear the funny hat with the buckle on it believe in that.
Yeah, those ones. They're the ones.
The ones with the funny hats. It looked like it got a belt. It looks like it has a belt on it. If anybody wants to come through, you can. The email is in front of the old screen there. It's prophetofthought@yahoo.com. That's prophetofthought, one word, no caps, @yahoo.com. I'm surprised nobody wanted to come up on this one. This would usually get them up here, boy. They must have flipped to another channel. The people who wanted to come up probably went to another channel. Everybody was like, fuck this shit, man. This ain't trying to let nobody up. Fuck them.
That emailing step weeds through some people.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Of course it does.
I was having trouble with that at the beginning. That's why it took me a while to get on.
That's
Yeah,
why I do it.
that's a weeder for sure.
Oh yeah, I know how to screen. I know how to see. I'm an animal trainer. See, and
Okay.
I know how to train Negroes. You know, I know how to train them. All you gotta do is instill a dress code, and then that weeds out lots of people right then and there. It does. Cause oh man, I don't wanna. I ain't dressing up to go in that club. Anybody who says that person, you probably don't want them in there anyway. So it weeds the people out. It just weeds them out. Don't take much, man, to weed out Negroes. All you got to do is require something from them. That's it. All you got to do is require something from them. You chop the crowd right in half. Yeah, you chop it right in half. Now your numbers suffer, but that's okay. Because when I started these debates back in 2019, I told Negroes, I said, look, I'm willing to make sure I have order in my court, and I'm willing for the numbers to suffer to have it. All right? To have it. That's why that bot's in the chat. That's why all that's there. Because guess what? They be like, oh man, I ain't writing an extra chat, man. His bot is racist. His bot is this, his bot is that. Yep. And the people who say that probably don't want them in here anyway. They don't know how to get in the damn chat room and just be a normal person. Oh man, your chat censors everybody. No, it doesn't. Look to the right of the screen. There's plenty of people writing. Yeah, they're writing away. Nothing's stopping them. The question is, why is it stopping you? Says more about your black ass than it does the old chatbot. All right. So there it is. Tired of Negroes.
Respect. Can I make a plug as well?
Absolutely. You got a channel? Do you have a channel?
I don't have a channel. I'm a chat rat.
Okay.
In the chat, I even want to take credit for coming, putting a twist on the sphere and coming up with the chatosphere. Some of the folks may, are familiar with me being on the chat constantly. And so one of the channels that, I'm a member of and is Dr. T.S. Johnson's channel.
Okay.
And
yeah, I watched the Good Doctor too.
Yeah, he has the black male political agenda, and actually the financial abortion is on that agenda, brother J.I.He. So if you're not already familiar with him, check him out, because he's trying to come up with an agenda for us that we can look at and get behind.
Yeah, the Good Doctor was here
But you're against it.
about a month ago.
But
Understood,
you're
brother.
against them doing that, right, Anthony?
I'm not a I'm not anti-brother. I'm in the manosphere. So, it comes to that. I'm not in a debate mode at this point. I would voice my opposition to it, because that's the deliberative process.
But you would still vote against it? That's not in debate mode either. You said you would you vote against it? You said you would.
Did we have some brothers that voted for Joe Biden and others that voted for Donald Trump?
We're not talking about
I would
that.
vote
We're
against
talking
it.
about
You know
this.
what I mean? I already said as
Okay.
much, though. I answered that question, but I'm putting forward something that brothers have gotten behind, and I'm for brothers coming together and developing stuff, and a political agenda, and whatever else it may be. And I wouldn't stand in the way of brothers trying to do what they have to do. I do have my views, and I've explained them all.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
Well, once again, I want to say it was a very, very close. It was very close. Probably one of the closest ones I've had. I think there was one more. I believe it was between I'm thinking it was Brother M.O.T, him and Brother David Monroe. Yeah, M.O.T, Brother M.O.T and Brother David was one that was close that I had to do a recount, actually, because we had called it for Brother David. And I went back because I always go back. And I went back and I went through the votes and come to find out Brother MOT had won the debate. He had beat him by like 2 points. So, you know. But
Okay.
this one was close like that too. Very
Salute
close.
to MOT.
Very close. Very close. I always go back, man, and recount them. Like the next day I go back and I recount them. And if the result is different, I will change it. I'll hit you up and be like, yo, man, you didn't lose last night. You won.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the victory going to Brother J.I. Like I said, he really he really gave me a boost just by challenging me, because it wasn't even on my radar to be coming up here like this, So I extend my thanks to him for that, and I wish
I
him
will
the
say
best
this:
in
you
his
should come
endeavor.
up more often, man.
Oh, thank you. I'll give that some thought. Like I said, you've opened my eyes to some things because I wasn't thinking about it at all prior to this.
Yeah, if nothing else than just healthy black male conversation about serious topics that doesn't end with "I'ma kill you," if for no other reason, to promote those conversations. Like, yeah, we can have serious conversations about serious topics, and it doesn't have to devolve into madness. I
Yeah.
think that more than anything, we need more of
Yeah. Because
in this
sometimes
space and in our media period.
yeah, shit gets a little insane. Oh, motherfucker, I'm coming to your house. Oh, I will kill your father. That kind. What?
Yeah.
What? And the
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah,
thing
it
is,
shouldn't have to get there.
yeah, and see, that's what's crazy about it, right? I mean, you have these people on here talking about they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Like, when are you supposed to do it? I mean, I'm in Florida, you in California. When is all this gonna happen?
It's
I'm in
never gonna happen.
Canada. You in Georgia. When is all this gonna happen? All right, you in Texas. I'm in freaking New Jersey. When is all this gonna happen? When are you plan on doing this? What you gonna come to where I live at and to ask around? Oh, do you know such and such? You're gonna come to my hometown and like ask around, like, and then what you gonna do once you find out where I am? What you gonna do?
Well,
Come to my damn house? That's what you're
that's
gonna do?
that's when the Quaker goes into self-defense mode.
Oh, man, look. A lot of these people that be running that shit, they are not coming to nobody's house. They not.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
If you show up at the wrong motherfucker's house, your ass will not be able to get back to where you came from. Okay, you're not gonna get back there. Because guess what? I know if I look outside, right? I'm at my house right now, right? If I look outside and I see a motherfucker from YouTube that I know I have a problem with, I know why he's here. All right. And his intentions are not good if he's here. Why would
Yeah.
you be here? All right. So you've already put yourself in a bad position because, see, you come to my property. Number one, my house is fenced in, my yard is fenced in. Right. So you're going to have to hop the fence. Number two, I have cameras all over my shit. Okay. I'm going to know you're here before you know I know you're here. Number two, I got a dog in the fucking yard the size of a fucking grizzly bear, and he's not a friendly motherfucker at all. So you have a lot of defenses you have to penetrate to get to me. Now, if you penetrate said defenses, let's assume you penetrate those defenses, right? I live in North Carolina. This is an open carry state, and we have the castle doctrine. All right.
Yeah.
If you do penetrate said defenses and make your way to the door and actually make your way in the house, by now I've known you're here for like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at least. I know that you're here. So as soon as you kick that door open, you'll just fall right on back out of there. As soon as you kick it open. Because I know you're here. I know you're here by then. By the time you get to the door, man, I've been know you here. I done saw you on the camera. The dog is going crazy. All that's going on while you're out there. So, like I said, if you happen to penetrate those defenses, which you will not, you won't. You won't penetrate those defenses, all right? Because I keep my house on because we have meth heads around, all right? So you got to jump a fence. You got to get past the motion detectors. Then you got to get past my fucking grizzly bear. Even if you do all of that, guess what? I know you are here. I know the layout. You don't.
Yeah. Good for you, brother X. That's
Yeah,
right.
I know the layout. You don't. All right. I'm
Yeah.
going to know where you are way before you know where I am. That's just the truth. So now I have the drop on you. All right. And what happens when a person has the drop on you? You lose. You lose. Yeah, you
Yeah.
lose. Well, they wouldn't get past the dog anyway. They're not getting past that motherfucker. He's not letting you breach. He's not letting you breach the perimeter. So I ain't even worried about that. Now, say you come with your pistol or whatever you got, right? Say you got your pistol and you shoot my dog. Now you done fired a shot. Guess what you done just did? You done just gave away your fucking position. Yeah, you just gave away your position. So now I got to drop on you again because I know where you at. You don't know where I am because I know the layout. You do not. So unless you done came and cased my shit for a week, I don't know. So I mean, and I think that that whole like brother NYC songman says the whole pull up piece is freaking preposterous, man. Who the
Yeah.
hell gonna pull up to somebody's damn house, over some stupid fucking YouTube, some YouTube freaking argument, man. If
You
you
know,
do, you're insane. You deserve to be shot. If you go to somebody's house over some YouTube nonsense, your black ass deserve to be shot. Yeah, that's what you deserve. You deserve to be shot right in your fucking forehead. Up out of
yeah.
here.
I really wish that a lot of that bravado would cease in the space, because like I say, we're yelling over our microphones, spitting into the mics,
Yeah.
and nothing's going to happen, like you said. So,
Yeah.
have more
It's not going to, brother
Yeah.
Sir Anthony. It's not going to. People get up here and threaten folks. I'm going to slap you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do all this bullshit. And I say again, I'm in Florida. You're in Canada. How do
Yeah.
you propose that you must have one of the longest arms ever to slap me all the way from Canada? Like, oh man, get your ass out there. See, you can do all of that, man. Because see, YouTube and other media platforms, all these things are 21st century fucking conference calls. All right. Let's get down
Yeah.
to the nitty-gritty. People always talk about here, right? There is no fucking here. All right. I'm in Georgia, you're in New York, you're in Canada, you're in Florida, you're in California. There is no here. All right. There is no physical here. This is a 21st century conference call, is what it is. It's a conference call with some avatars and some graphics on it. That's all it is. That's all it is. So it's the same as all of us being the same. You, brother J.I., and myself, we all on a three-way. Yeah, we talking three-way, and we get to arguing. Now we all gonna kill each other, which is fine. We want to kill each other, but the problem is J.I.'s in Minnesota, Sir Anthony's in Florida, X is in California. So we have to literally make arrangements for us to get up and fight each other. We have to make arrangements. Where you gonna be tomorrow? Where you gonna be tomorrow? Oh, you want to meet halfway? Oh, well, let's meet in Kentucky. What?
It sounds crazy, right?
Yes, it sounds ridiculous. We would literally have to make arrangements for us to get together and fight, shoot each other, stab each other, slap each other, whatever we're gonna do. We would have to make arrangements. Oh, well, I'm off Saturday. And then the other person's like, well, Saturday, I'll be at my dad's house. How about Sunday? We'll meet in the middle between Jersey and Virginia. What?
Just like we had to do it to see bait.
Man, come on, man. Come Come on, man. I
You know,
mean,
the way I see like a lot of this stuff, especially since we're in the manosphere, our masculinity is digitized. So the things that we would rely on in real life, which is our physicality, is rendered mute. We can't use it. So in the space, the yelling and everything, and the busting the head gasket, that's useless. And it takes away from your masculinity because you have to rely on different aspects of masculinity, like self-control, discipline, so on and so forth. The softer aspects of masculinity, because our physicality isn't even at play. So the yelling really needs to stop.
But that's why I like these debates, and that's why I always champion T.P.O.T for doing the debate, because I'm the type of person, I watch debates, period. I enjoy watching debates on issues that I find interesting, legal, philosophical, whatever, religious, all that. I just enjoy debates. And I like seeing that there's a space for Black people to debate, because debating alone, the principle of it, just by virtue of what it is, it cuts out a lot of the nonsense, because you can't overtalk each other, except for during, rapid fire or whatever. You can't overtalk each other. It's moderated by a moderator, and you're not supposed to be cursing and doing all that carrying. It's a specific point that both people know what they're talking about, and you're supposed to be talking to the point. So debate in general just gets rid of a lot of the foolishness. So that's why I love the debates.
Can I say some things too?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
Brother J.I., every time I hear you, you remind me of Fantastic. To me, you and Fantastic sound alike. But also this stuff is hard. So like I said earlier, my hat is off to y'all, who do these debates. Because I was struggling there. And I was struggling. It's tough. So salute to you.
That was just stage fright. Man.
Yeah, it is. But you did well to get through it, because a lot of people, everybody chat chirps, but as you see, it's different when you actually up here. But you really should, you need to throw your hat into, you need to join the league. Ask if you can join the league and get up here and debate, do some more debates and more discussions, because you maintained your position very well, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And I would like to hear you debate other people on different topics and see where that goes. I like the league. I like being a part of the league and hearing everybody's different aspects come into play and everything. I love that.
Did somebody say the league? Join the league. Join the league. Oh, okay. I guess you didn't.
Hey, man, I want to be added to the league, man. I want to be added to the photo.
You're already in it. God damn it. You've been in it. What are you talking about? You're already in it. See, I have to make another I would have to make another commercial or add you to the template. But I'm mixing some things around. It's different now. So T.P.O.T pivots from time to time. So it's just like different now. So, if I did it, I would have to make the whole thing over. I wouldn't even put you on the old commercial. I would just do the whole shit over. Whole shit would be done over. I just like playing that one because I like the music behind it. That's all. I'm addicted to that music. That's all. I see my brother Art in the house. What's good, brother Art?
Salute, brother Art New Style.
Yeah, I mean, he can join the league if he wants. Just hit me with an email. Say, I want to join the league, and I'll put your name on the list. That's all. And whenever you want to challenge somebody, you hit me up. You say, X, I want to challenge X, Y, and Z person. I hit them up. They say, yeah. We throw down. It's pretty much how it goes.
Okay, well, like I say, you opened my eyes. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on through. Come on through, man. We let everybody come. Well, no, not everybody. But mostly
Yeah,
everybody. Yeah,
I- I'm
mostly.
I'm familiar
Mostly.
with the ones that that aren't allowed, and that's good.
It has to be that way, man. Because see, one thing I say, man, and I say this a lot. All right. One thing I say is, I will let anybody come up here, voice their opinion, debate whatever they want to debate. I mean, sometimes people come up here and debate topics that I'm I'm either not really interested in, or topics that I'm not familiar with. And even with those debates, I will let those rock for the simple fact that I believe in letting everybody come on and have a voice, man. I mean, I'm not one. People say, "Oh man, you're about censorship because my chat box and shit." But I mean, when it comes to brothers coming up, because there's people who come on here, man, I totally disagree with the points that they make and shit. But me disagreeing with you, man, I'm not gonna keep you off my channel. If you want to come up here and throw down with somebody, I could totally disagree with both of y'all. All right. And the debate will still go down. Even though I disagree with both sides, it'll still go down. So doesn't really matter. I try to stay as neutral as possible, when it comes to these debates. That's why I don't judge them. I let the people do it. All right. I let the people judge them. I don't judge shit. I just listen to it. I just host a motherfucker. All right. That's pretty much it. I don't have any interest on either side. I let the people decide, and who the people say win. That you don't like it, take it to the people. Don't take it to me, motherfucker. I ain't vote. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think that that's the most neutral and fair way to go about it. Um, when I first started doing them, I didn't even take polls. I didn't no winner was ever announced. All right. We didn't do any polls. We didn't ask anybody who won or lost. I would just let people, just decide for yourselves. And then as it moved along and they got a little more popular, that's when I started doing the polls and letting the people decide. But in the beginning, we didn't let anybody decide. I let everybody leave. Both debaters left thinking they won, and whatever. Yeah, whatever the audience thought, that's what they thought. And didn't do any of that. That kind of came along later, as they start to get a little more popular. They've actually died down a bit over the last few months, but they used to actually be really popular, man. I had nights when I had 500 people in the fucking chat to watch these damn debates, man, because
Wow.
some of everybody has come to debate on this channel. I mean, some of everybody has debated here, man. Some of everybody. That's why the league was started, because there was so many people involved. So, and the league is forever like Wakanda. League
Yeah.
is forever. Once you're in, there's no way out.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. It is what it is. Actually, I am trying to I'm in the process of working on a big one, man. We might have a big one going down Wednesday night, and it's going to be a late night too, because it'll be the second show of a double header Wednesday night, because I have a show at 9. So it'll be after that, probably around 10:30. So I'm trying to put that one together. It's about 75% there. I'm just waiting for one more person to hit me up, and Wednesday night it
Can you say
goes
what the
down, and
topic
it's
is?
gonna be a good one too. Huh?
So can you say
Say
what the
what?
topic is? Can you say what the topic of the
Um,
debate's going to
yeah,
be?
yeah, yeah. It's over the Derek Chauvin case. It's over the
Okay.
Derek Chauvin George Floyd case. But I'm
Okay.
just waiting. I'm waiting to hear back from one more person. I'm waiting to hear
Is
back
it
from
is
one
it
more person.
over? Was he right or wrong? Is that the topic?
Um, I think
That's going to
it's
get
hold
real
on.
controversial.
Let me see it, because I want to get it right. I want to get it
That's going to
right.
get really controversial really quick.
Let me see.
That's going to be good.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Let me see, because I want to get it right. I don't want to give y'all the wrong information.
That's gonna be that's yeah. I'm gonna watch that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I haven't really been, I don't watch television, so I get all of my information through, the YouTube mainly, the content creators.
Yeah, I think
How,
this is Chauvin guilty? Yeah, is Derek Chauvin guilty? I believe is what they're going to be debating. I do believe if it comes to fruition, that is, and it might be a
That's
tag
gonna be
team
interesting.
debate too. Might be a 4-man debate instead of two. It'd be four, two people on both sides. So yeah, I have that in the works for you good folks. I know y'all ain't seen one of those in a while. The old the old double, you know, the old 2-on-2 throwdown. Y'all haven't
Hey
seen
X,
one
what
of
does the
those in a
time look
while.
like for those? What's the time look like for the four people? Do they still get 7 minutes apiece and then 5 minute rebuttals each, or is it shortened?
No, it's split. It's the same time, but you got two people. So if both of y'all want to talk, y'all have to split the time. you know. And
Okay,
what
okay, all
what
right.
usually happens on those debates, because I've done a few of them, where it's like four people. What they usually do, like in the opening statements, one person takes 3.5 minutes, other person takes 3.5, and the same with the rebuttal rounds. One person
Okay,
takes two
okay.
minutes, the other person takes three of it. They do it like that. No, the time is the same, just that you got two people instead of one. Rapid fire is freaking the 4-man debates or rapid fire are out of control. Yeah, those are out of control because now you
man.
got four people talking instead of two, so it gets real crazy real quick. But yeah, we going. So I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make trying to get a team debate going for Wednesday for y'all, man. I've been telling everybody I'm be giving them some different looks in 2021. Y'all should have been here last night, man. I had a real live hip hop icon on here last night. Uh, brother DC Supreme from Tag Team. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. He was here last night, y'all. Y'all missed it. Yeah, y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. And I got a few more notable people coming down the pipe. All right. I got a few more notable people coming down the pipe that you probably won't see anywhere else, but you're gonna see them here. You'll see them here. So just stay tuned, Negroes.
Definitely look forward to it.
Stay tuned, Negroes. That's all you got to do is stay tuned. You'll see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess if we're not going to get anybody to come up here, I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, brothers. Um, yeah,
Let me ask one
we
final question to Brother Anthony before we hop
go
off
ahead. You
this
got it.
thing. Last question for tonight, so we wrap this up. We've gone on 3 hours. This was a great debate. I would even
Thank
go so far, if we had a team, if there's a team debate, if me and you were on one mind about something, I would welcome you on my team.
you.
But
Wow.
how do you
Thank you.
view war in the context of it being right and wrong? Do you believe that going to war and killing people for resources, do you believe that that's wrong?
Through, you know, through my faith as it is, you know, let's just say like, as an early Quaker, of course, yes, I was full on against war. And I still say that, and I was full on against, any type of killing without the qualification of self-defense. And I've come to that. So my stance on war in terms of self-defense, I'm for that. But as it stands, and even try to bring in terms like right and wrong, I don't even know if they can really apply, when we're talking about war. You can make that, an ethical, judgment and say it's right or wrong, which I guess through my faith I do. So I'm against it, but I would qualify it just as I would qualify, violence to protect oneself. you know, it's not an easy thing to put your arms around, but you got to arrive somewhere and plant your flag. I hope that was sufficient. If you know,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It baffles me how we as human beings, this has nothing to do with you in particular, we all do it, how we can so easily put right and wrong into these little baskets, and how we can just be so hypocritical about it. For example, if you go to war, if you have a government that backs what you're doing and you call it war, people would justify you killing, thousands upon thousands of people. But if somebody kills somebody, in the street over something, over money or something, he's branded a criminal. But to that man, those were resources. Just like with warring countries, they often war over resources. It's human nature, but we're so hypocritical in how we slot things. But I don't want to
Y-
get this off into that's a whole separate debate. So I'm gonna leave it there, man.
yeah, but real quick, I mean, those are themselves, moral discussions, and it
Those
depends
are
on
more
what your
discussion.
approach. Yeah, it depends on your approach to morality and how you're going to put your spin on it. So that's something that I'm exploring. I think I was listening to the stream a week or two ago, the replay of the stream actually, and I think you had just become introduced to the Green Gorilla. On his channel, he discusses philosophical issues, and he goes a little deeper than normal, because he's a doctor of philosophy, and I've learned a lot in that regard on the different approaches to philosophy. Things that I just thought as were normal. Now I understand the terminology and the underpinnings of such things, and that's why I love this space. We learn so much. You know, and
Agreed.
like I say, to your point, it's fluid in that regard. The more you learn, things can change. You know, we don't know where we'll end up.
Agreed. We gotta do some moderated discussions, man, on some moral questions
Oh yeah, we
in the
do those
future.
over here too. We do those over here too.
Yeah, I'm gonna let T.P.O.T do our
Yeah,
moderation for this. It won't be a debate, but it'll be a discussion. Yeah.
yeah, we do those over here too. I've done about I think I've done over 100 debates, but I think I've done altogether. I think I've done about 4 of those moderated discussions. Yeah, done 4. You know, it's small compared to all the debates. Because, like I said, I mean, I must have done. Let me see.
Yeah, this is something I'd like to have a
I'm
discussion
well
with
over
somebody
100. Well over
about, because
100.
some things don't lend well to debate because it's not as concrete of a stance that you have on it to be against something, but the discussion piece is definitely worthy of that.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I think we're gonna go ahead and call this, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate both you brothers for coming through, brother Sir Anthony. This is the first time you've been up in here, man, and you're
Thank you,
welcome,
sir.
brother.
Thank
Just
you.
know that you're welcome. Like I said, J.I.He knows the drill. If he want to throw down, he'll just hit me up, and the same goes for you, brother. Just hit me up and say X. I want to debate X, Y, and Z, and if I can make it happen, I will. All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Brother X.
Absolutely. Brother J.I., you already know what it is, my brother. So I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
both of you
Peace to
brothers,
you.
man. Peace, my
Peace out,
brothers.
everyone. Peace, Brother J.I.
Peace, man. Y'all take care.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead, man, and call it quits, y'all. I think there's a party going on the next block, man. I need to breeze on around there and see what my neighbor's doing. God damn it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead, man, and wrap this up, man. Call it a night. But before we go, you know that before we get up out of here, I have to hit y'all with T.P.O.T's programming notes. Yeah. T.P.O.T YouTube page moves along. Next week, we coming in hot and heavy. Next week, I'm going to have the brothers on here, man, 9 p.m. Eastern time, man. I'm going to have the brothers who have served in the military will be here. You know, ex-military brothers. You can probably guess who's going to be here because, you know, all of us, we pretty much are familiar with everybody else. So I'm going to have a group of ex-military brothers that I've rounded up, man, and they're going to get up here, man, and they're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the long term for brothers who choose to serve in the United States military. All right. 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You know. And also a side note, I've been talking about it all night. That might be a doubleheader show. After the show with the ex-military brothers, we might do a debate. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I should have it all packaged by Sunday night. I should have it all packaged up, and y'all will see the thumbnail, and y'all will know whether or not if we're gonna throw down or not. All right. So I don't know yet. It's still up in the air. It's almost there, but not quite. I'm still waiting for a few responses. So look out for that too. Wednesday night may be a hell of a night, man, and it might be a doubleheader too. So stay tuned. Then Thursday, Lady Nicole will be here, and the Ask the Doc series returns. All right, and Lady Nicole will be here, and she'll be answering your questions, Negroes. We'll be talking about the vaccines, and like I told y'all before, I'm actually going to take my vaccine Monday morning. I decided to, you know, just go ahead and take the morning off and go ahead and get this vaccine. Let them stab me in the shoulder right quick, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go get it done. And like I said earlier, if y'all don't see me by Wednesday or Thursday, that means the vaccine has killed old X. And and like I said, y'all better come down here and march in my honor if this damn vaccine kills me Monday morning. You hear? Yeah. But Thursday night, Lady Nicole will be here, man, on Ask the Doc, and she'll be taking you Negroes questions. So you might want to put a few together so Lady Nicole can answer them, all right? And that's 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday night, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. All right? All right. So good stuff tonight, man. Brother Sir Anthony was in the house tonight. Brother Sir Anthony in the house. You know? Sir Anthony in the house tonight. Throwing down with Brother J.I.He. I appreciate both the brothers, man. And most importantly, man, I appreciate you good folks who hang out in here. And I appreciate you good folks who hang out there, man. I don't take y'all lightly. I never have. And like I always say, man, I never will. I appreciate the cash apps and the super chats as always. Yeah, we're going to get on up out of here, man. And another shout out to Brother J.I.He and Brother Sir Anthony for this here debate. So, with that, and also, let me go ahead and plug my man one more time. Get on out there, man, and check out this book. It's a thick-ass book, too. I am going to read it. And what I'm going to do, because I've seen a few reviews of it, I'm going to read it myself. And once I read it, I think I'm going to do somewhat of a review on it, because maybe y'all don't remember. Let me give y'all a quick reminder right quick before we get out of here. Maybe y'all don't remember back when. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Y'all got time, right? Y'all ain't going nowhere. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Let's see if I can find it. Damn it. Here it is. I don't know if y'all remember, but this was back in, I believe. God damn it. Hold up, y'all. Wait for this commercial to go. But you know, my shit is monetized. This was back in April of 2020, y'all. So it's been almost a year ago. Yeah, I'll bring it up on the screen, y'all. I'll bring it up on the screen for you good folks. Let me see. You remember back April 2020, I had interviewed Brother Obsidian about this here book, this very book that I have in front of me here. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember when I interviewed Brother Obsidian that night about this book a year ago? And he said back then, he said, it will be out. And here it is, man. Here it is. So y'all can go check that video out too. It's actually titled The Book of Obsidian. Strangely enough. Strangely enough. So get on down there, man, and check that out as well. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, y'all. We're gonna get together, and once I've read the book, we're gonna get together, man, and we're gonna talk about it. All right. We're gonna talk about what's inside Brother Obsidian's book. I want to read the whole thing first, though, y'all, before I do it. I haven't read it yet. It just got here yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. It just got here yesterday. I want to dig into it, man, and try to have it done within, a day or two. I'll probably read it on, my days that I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna go ahead and go through it, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a show on it. And who knows, I might even try to get old Brother Obsidian up in here too to talk about it, so I can ask him some questions. All right, what do y'all think about that? Should we do that? Should we do a show like that? Should we go ahead, read the book, right? Read the book, and then get Brother Obsidian in here and maybe do some Q&A about the book. What do y'all think about that? Maybe we'll do that. All right. So be looking out for that. And like I said, I'll see y'all Wednesday and Thursday if this COVID vaccine does not kill me on Monday. If I'm not killed by the vaccine on Monday, I will be here Wednesday night. Yeah. So we gonna get on up out of here, man. I appreciate all you good folks, man. I appreciate the support, the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, and the coins. And most importantly, man, I appreciate all you good folks. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words, like I always do. Open your mind.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
A community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost at $1 billion. Three PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper till you read over and over and see white families travel? You think of the thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families smiling as black cops shot my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better good? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrong, then you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sac Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Weston House. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power, hours of power, hours of power.
San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. That's 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your minds.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.